Hey, what's up, everyone? Welcome to episode number 11 of Ready Play Movies. So, not gonna lie, I usually have like a little script in front of me, and I always like figure out like that's how I read it. And now I'm just gonna like
off the dome.
Just let it go.
Dome,
just
man.
happen.
We got a freestyle.
So, yeah, this is a very special episode of Ready Play Movies. It's being simulcast on twitch.tv/Joel BBY. So follow Joel on Twitch.
Let's go.
And let's see, there's the video version of this show, and we're doing another BTS, aka behind the scenes number 2, which is we're gonna do a free flow, like just let the conversation go wherever it may go. So I am your host, Louis Menchaca, and I'm joined today by my co-host, as always, Mr. Troy Bracer.
Yes, sir. Let's get it.
And directly in front of me, the musician, the composer, Joel. Should I say your last name or just go with Joel?
Just be like Waz.
It's just Waz. Yeah, there you go.
Waz. You supposed to know that, man.
What's it called? This is the guy, the one person that did our composing for our intros for Ready Play Movies and Ready Press Play. And he's just an all-around cool dude. So
All around cool dude.
Yeah.
Apparently.
And here's the thing. Not gonna lie, I think I spoke like 5 words to this guy maybe in total since
we have not had a conversation.
We have not had a conversation, and all I know is your name is Sam.
I'm Sam. Yeah.
Yes. So we're gonna basically I'm gonna get to know him like live on camera, live on Twitch, and everything, and we're just gonna like talk about movies and things that we love about it, and hopefully you guys are good at improvising. That's because that's what we're gonna be doing.
Yeah, man, that's what we like to do that a lot. Improvising is that fun shit, man.
All right, so before we let's just go ahead and get into it here, because there's really 2 big topics that are happening right now as far as like the movie sphere and like entertainment and stuff like that. Everyone's still buzzing about the Snyder Cut, and as well, but not so much because I feel like this is kind of like more like being buried because of the Snyder Cut, but also Falcon and the Winter Soldier also had its premiere episode. Yeah. So we're gonna be giving our thoughts about these 2 things. So I want to first start off with the Snyder Cut, because that's obviously like the bigger thing. Let's just go ahead and jump right into it.
Yeah.
So first off, let's think about this. Let's go with Sam, because I want to know more about you. Did you watch the Snyder Cut?
I have not watched all of the Snyder Cut.
Oh, come on.
I've tried to get it in on my way here. It was a last minute thing.
It is 4 hours.
I couldn't get to it. I tried to put it in, but from what I saw, I got up to the point where Bruce Wayne kind of got in contact with Barry Allen, and they're getting in the car, and that's where I had to cut it off.
Okay.
So definitely not like all the way in there, but I'm definitely gonna finish it off.
All right. Cool. All right. So, but from what you did watch, did you like it more than the original theatrical?
Already.
All right. Good. Joel, what you got?
Oh, about the Snyder Cut?
Yeah. What are your thoughts first impressions?
First impressions? Yeah. It was. I mean, I've been talking with Troy about this. Like, we've been talking about it and saying how this movie's like literally so forgettable, or not this. No, I'm sorry, the Whedon cut. I'm sorry. Not this one.
No, we call it the Justice League.
The Justice League.
Yeah.
I don't even want to give him the credit of having that name. You're putting his name in the name. You know.
Well, the Snyder
Cut is way better.
Yeah, he don't deserve a nickname.
He doesn't deserve it.
I think the Justice League is like more of like it's kind of like an insult.
Insult.
Like, people say it like it's like a bad. The way they say it even sounds ugly. Like the Justice League.
Yeah.
Troy.
Yeah, I don't want to get in that, man.
Troy, what you got? What's your first your hot take? Your first take?
I think it's better. I think it's as simple as that. Like it's a much better film. It's almost like chunks of what the theatrical version needed was put back in. Like it was like the theatrical version was missing so much stuff and it was so corny. And I think this made it, like, tonally, it made it feel more grounded, and it made it better, more story.
So I want to throw your words back at you, because when we talked about BVS, we talked about the director's cut, the ultimate edition, whatever you want to call it,
Yeah.
We talked about it, and we said that, hey, man, it was originally a 3-hour movie, and then you rebutted, your rebuttal to me was, man, it shouldn't have been 3 hours, man. He already messed up. If it's that long, then you're doing it wrong or whatever.
Yeah.
So if you think about, let's just assume that all 4 hours of these footage, none of this was reshot, which that's not the case, but just assuming that was his original true vision.
Yeah.
What are your thoughts of a 4-hour long movie? Would you go to pay to see it in theaters?
Well, yeah, of course I would go to pay and see it in theaters, but I don't think everyone else will. But I think that the big reason why it's 4 hours is because it's on HBO Max. Like, I think if it was put in theaters, he would have definitely cut it down. Because first of all, it's impossible to put a 4-hour movie in theater.
Hell
The
yeah.
theaters,
You're gonna have like 3 screenings a day.
yeah, like
what?
Two, maybe?
right.
And you got to think about it. They make the most. Like theaters make money during the weekends, yes, but for a theater to really succeed, they gotta make money
Multiple
during the
shows.
week.
Yeah.
And you're not gonna make money during the
Yeah,
week if you're showing a movie that's 4 hours long and you only show that shit like 3 or 4 times a day. Like,
yeah, the theater chains wouldn't
Yeah.
allow it, and Warner Brothers, they wouldn't have allowed it. So
Yeah.
I think he just took advantage of the opportunity to say, "Fuck it, I'm gonna make it as long as I," you know what I mean?
think that's cool.
I'm gonna just put everything in it. And since you watch stuff on Netflix, like television series on Netflix
Full
and stuff,
seasons at a time.
it's the same
Yeah.
exact thing. It's like benching stuff. You pause it, you get back to it. I'm sure you're gonna get right back to where you left
definitely,
off.
definitely.
It's more of a series more than a movie, or it's
feels
like
good
in
like that.
between.
It's
But watching it at home, it feels good. You could just chill, relax on your couch, and a 4-hour version ain't as bad as if it was in theaters.
well, think about it. If you're gonna binge a series,
right, that's what you do anyway.
4 hours of a series is usually about 8 episodes.
Yeah.
And so
Like
about
like Stranger Things.
something like that,
Yeah.
exactly. So watching this, you see it episodically, and it's just like
And this
it's
is-
so much better.
And the example I use is, what was everybody complaining about when it came to WandaVision? They wanted to see them simultaneously. They hoped they could, they was
it all
pissed
together,
off
yeah.
when it ended so
Yeah.
quick. Now, I bet you if WandaVision the whole series was out on Disney Plus, everyone would have watched it straight through.
Yeah.
The
Yeah,
same day.
I
It was
would've.
so what's the difference by having a 4-hour movie
Exactly.
on HBO Max?
No, I just wanted to get your take on it. And
Yeah,
so,
yeah,
me
for sure.
personally, I would have did a 2-hour mark and put an intermission.
Oh yeah, that would have
For
been
people to
cool.
use the
I think
restroom.
if they do
Yeah.
ever
Yeah.
do like a temporary movie showing of it one day, I think they would have an intermission, maybe somewhere in the middle, because it's like 4 hours in the theater is super long.
Yeah.
So
So,
yeah. I
So
agree with
obviously, for everyone who's watching the show and everything, or listening on Twitch and everything, I want to go ahead and just give a spoiler warning, because I think at this point, I'm assuming that you guys all watched the show, and we're just going to talk freely about moments and things like that. And I'm sorry I'm going to be spoiling things for you.
I will say I have watched some spoilers. I tried to fill in some information for myself just to kind of catch up. So
Okay, yeah, okay, cool.
I'm not too surprised by what. Like,
Most
So,
of the
you know-
spoilers are the ending, though, because the thing is, the ending is different. That's the
And
end.
all right, and I think with spoilers, it all depends how you view them. Like to me, there's plenty of things that have been spoiled, especially even in the last year that were spoiled, especially with like Mandalorian or like shit like that. That like I'd be on the internet at like 2:01 and the episode drops, and there's like I'm just on Twitter, and then boom,
Spoiler.
fucking I already saw what the
Yeah.
fuck happened,
Yeah.
And so like, but the thing is, that may be a spoiler for a lot of people. But to me, it ain't gonna take away from when I see
not
it,
at all.
because I have to see it to be like, well, damn,
Oh,
that's
trust
how
me,
it actually feels.
He wouldn't be here right now if that was the case. He'd be like,
For
shit,
real?
yeah. So
For the most part, though, if you've seen the Justice League, then you're not really gonna get much in the way of spoilers, because the only thing you're really adding is just like context.
right.
Like if you think about the theatrical cut of like BVS and then like the Ultimate Edition of BVS, it's the same movie plot wise, but it fills in the gaps of logic and backstory and stuff like that.
Right.
So let me go ahead and just and pivot to actually talking about the differences between the movies. Like I think the biggest winner as far as differences goes definitely has to go to Cyborg. He definitely and here's my like small criticism or whatever about this situation is like Cyborg had to have a origin story within the new cut, right? And he had to be like fleshed out, and you got to show his powers and like show examples of it. Him like making the cash and everything, being able to like launch nukes and stuff like that. Really like showing him like as a character. And I feel like that is almost to me feels like an admission that the rushing to get to Justice League was a bad thing, because like with Avengers, we had like 5 movies leading up to Avengers 1, whereas this could have been like the 4-hour cut is necessary because you have to flesh out Flash, you got to flesh out Cyborg, you got to flesh out Aquaman and everything like that. Versus if you had all these backstories and origin stories already taken care of, you can go to Justice League and you can make a 2-hour cut and everything's good because you don't have to take any shortcuts with like getting the plots or everyone's backstories and motivations in play.
Right.
So what do you think?
I mean, I feel like no, you go for real.
Well, of course, I definitely disagree.
That's all I wanted to hear. I swear to God.
That's her catchphrase right there. Shit.
Well, and here's the thing, like, because here's my take on this whole like situation where we live in a world now because of the great stuff Marvel's been doing with the crossing over and doing all of that. You know, they've done such a good job with that people kind of gotten spoiled to the reality of how you watch movies in the first place. Like, when you watch a movie, you don't need I'm just talking about a normal movie like Hateful Eight or some ensemble film.
Yeah.
You don't need a film setting up every character that they introduce in every movie that's ever been introduced. They introduce it in a movie. When you watch Hateful Eight, Quentin Tarantino movie, they don't have a standalone movie for each character and then they all make the Hateful Eight. No, they introduce. That's how movies have typically been done. Now, we've gotten spoiled because Marvel did something fun and unique and different, but they didn't have to do that for Avengers to work. You know, that's something they done to make like this comic book feel, and it made it even more of a spectacle even. But like Justice League wasn't 4 hours because of that. It was 4 hours just because I think Snyder was trying to make it such a epic. Like he had a bunch of stuff that, you know, to make it like Lord of the Rings, for instance. You know, would you say Lord of the Rings, they needed to set up all of those characters? That was 4 hours.
They did with the Hobbit later on.
Down the line. But at the time, those were considered masterpieces, and I think one of the Lord of the Rings got nominated for the most Oscars ever to this day.
What's it called?
Peter
Jackson was fucking just
amazing.
Raking in the Oscars.
Right. So that's why I disagree. You know, I think that's why I disagree. I think Cyborg, the way they introduced him was for the movie to have heart. Not for like, oh dang, we need to have a cyborg part and we need to have this part. No, like that was to be the heart of the movie. And if you watch like the theatrical cut, there is no heart in the movie. Bro. You know what I mean?
That's what I'm saying. Like, I don't know what the future of this movie holds. You know, like what are they gonna do after? But like, for Warner Brothers to be like, yo, we're gonna cap it at 2 hours with credits. I was just like, how the fuck? There's like no way. Like, what fucking movie, even just normal like action or thriller movie or any sort of movie or any just movie ever, like nowadays, like if you're doing about 1 hour and a half, hour 45, that's average, you know. Yeah. But 2 hours, like, that's not even overkill. Yeah. Like even like 2.5 hours is most like an average person to be like, fuck, that's too fucking long, or that's a long ass movie. I don't want to sit through 2.5 hours. You know, like that's why Justice League doesn't appeal to those type of people. But like the fucking 2 hour cap is impossible. It's impossible.
Yeah.
How could you possibly do that?
Yeah.
How I can't imagine like the stress that the people that had to work on that shit went through.
I mean, and if you pay attention to the theatrical version, it's partially why the movie is so bad because it's so rushing. It's partially. Like it's
speed running through the plot.
Completely,
they're speed running through the plot, and you can't make movies like that. You know, movies have to be edited, paced well, and so many things have to go into making a movie feel like it's flowing. And they was just chopping through that shit. You know, you don't do it. Now, don't get me wrong. I don't feel like a movie has to be 4 hours either. You know, it's not like 2 hours or 4 hours. You know what I mean? But you know, 2 hours is a bit ridiculous when you're, you know, telling a story about an ensemble of characters.
And for a studio that has money, you know,
they were like, just smoking.
They were literally smoking some shit.
Yeah, for sure.
I don't know.
Sam, what are okay? Before I throw it over to Sam, I just want to say that number one, I actually think that the 4 hour cut, having watched it all in one take, I actually they didn't feel like it felt 4 hours. It didn't feel its length to me.
No, okay, so the way I watched it was I watched it in 3 days. I watched like the first 40 minutes on my phone going to sleep. The next morning I woke up, watched like the next hour and a half. And then when I got home that same day, the last hour and a half, 2 hours, whatever, and it felt so good because like I knew where I was gonna stop. I was like, because on the HBO Max has the markers, and I was like,
part one, part two,
and I was
part
like,
three.
all right, bet I already know where I'm gonna be. I already know where I'm gonna end, and it felt so good because it like to me it honestly built excitement because on the shit that I stopped it on, I was like, oh fuck. But I was like damn, it's late. So I was like, I gotta go to sleep. And then so I went to fucking bed and I woke up and I was like, first thing I gotta do is turn on fucking Justice League because I need to know what the hell happened. You know, I need to know what's going on. And it felt like an episodic thing, but it also felt like how you said it didn't feel like 4 hours. And I know if I would have watched it in one sitting, it still wouldn't have felt like. There's no way. Like the movie's paced so fucking good, and it's long as fuck, but it's so good.
And then if you think, and I think part of the reason why, if you think about it, like the epilogue part. Like the movie is over before the epilogue, hits. So that's almost like tacked on. So if you think about it, it's not actually, 4 hours.
It's like 3 hours and 30.
Yeah, 3 hours and like 40 or something like that. So. And like you said, the way it's paced, I don't think it feels like, oh my goodness, I've been here forever. Unless you don't like the movie. I mean, any movie that you don't like, you're gonna be like, shit, this shit
it could be
sucks.
a 90-minute movie, and I'll be like, damn.
Yeah, right. So, but like, if you're cool with what's going on in the movie, it don't feel like 4 hours to me at all. Like, I'm just enjoying every second of it. So yeah, that's why I think it was a good idea that this came out on HBO Max, because you got the best of both worlds. You could stop and go like Joel did, and you could pull a me and just watch it all the way through.
Yeah. So Sam, that's what I wanted to kick it to you. So
Okay.
we both the diagonal part of the table here has one way of feeling about the length, and I have I even though I enjoyed the movie, my criticism is that the length is necessary because of the lack of the groundwork. So what do you think about, what are your thoughts about the length of the movie and their approach to having, done like 2 movies than Justice League?
Yeah, well, I kind of agree with what Troy was saying. Just like I think it comes down to like Zack Snyder. He likes to tell these epic tales, and it's like with the extended releases of like Superman and Batman, and even Watchmen, like are just so much like better told in those full detail, and you need like that 4 hours.
Yeah.
So like when it comes down to that, like 100%, I agree with that. Like, but at the same time, like I don't know, like what Joel was saying, like the way that has those points, like I could watch it like that too, because it's like it ends with the points, and it's like, oh fuck, like I want to get back to this and see what happens, like. But I could also still sit there and like bang it out. It's just like it could go either way, because I'm so interested in the details of the movie. Like it doesn't, times like you're saying, you're not like, oh my god, like get to the point. You're like all these like extra added details, just like.
And that's a good point. Like I didn't even think of that. Like Zack Snyder has multiple films where he has a bigger cut. Like
Watchmen 3 hours, a director cut even longer.
Yeah,
even that shit.
And it's so good, and it's better. Like the Watchmen version with the longer version is better.
Which is crazy. It's already 3 hours.
Dude, think about Watchmen too. That shit's old. That's over 10 years old now.
Yeah.
I bet you there was like a longer cut of 300 that's
For real.
He probably has a longer cut of every movie.
Shit, they got an NC-17 cut of Miss Doubtfire.
I know, right?
We over here living now.
Yeah.
No, yeah, dude, that's a good point. I like up until fucking Sam said that shit, I didn't even think about like the Ultimate Edition of BVS.
Yeah.
Like way better movie. Why the fuck did I like? Why couldn't I have just been like? Why couldn't there have been some certain circumstance in my life where I couldn't see BVS in theaters, and then I only see the Ultimate Edition?
I think what I'm gonna start doing with Zack Snyder, I'm gonna just not watch his shit at first, and then wait for the better version.
Unless he has the reins from the beginning.
Well, I feel like even in 2017, it's like he couldn't have. They wouldn't. 4-hour movie just couldn't have been a thing.
That's unheard of. It's only happened a couple
times. So they can like keep the movie flow going, like in the theaters and everything. Yeah. But like
turnaround times,
he's the one that tells these epic tales, and they're better told in full detail.
Huh. Okay. Well, like, see, yeah, that's true. You're right. He is an auteur, and that almost kind of brings up a whole separate debate about whether or not like a director should have free control, or should he bow to the whims of the studio or give studio notes? Like, no, we need to make it shorter. We need to make money and stuff like that. Like, there's like it's like a movie business. Like it's either art or it's a business and stuff like that. It almost kind of sucks. It almost kind of doesn't do justice. Zack Snyder justice.
Yeah.
That's a good one. Sorry.
Hey, no, honestly, that was a pretty good one.
Actually, well, I think to be honest, there's certain people that are better at dealing with that stuff, like better dealing with trying to make the movie they want and try to make the movie the studio wants.
Yeah.
And I don't think Zack Snyder's good at it. Like his version that's in theaters usually isn't that well done. And then the version he can do, or like he gets his more range to do, is much better, So it's like you have some people that can balance it and some people that can't, And like, by the way, like Justice League, the Snyder Cut isn't a perfect movie. Like I'm not putting it up there with like The Dark Knight or Captain America: Winter Soldier or none of that.
Yeah.
It's just way better. It's just such.
We have something to compare it to. So by comparison, it looks like an Academy Award.
Me and Troy said something the other day. We were like, I like the Snyder Cut more than I like the first Avengers.
Oh yeah, I do too. I actually like it better than the first two
Avengers.
Yeah,
I agree.
Because I didn't really like Age of Ultron that much.
Yeah.
Like
I haven't rewatched it, but I've heard rewatching it, some people feel like a certain way with that movie.
I can agree with that because I rewatched it, because of WandaVision.
Right, and I was going
It
to.
definitely adds something different to it when you watch it with
Okay,
that context.
and that's
Oh,
what
yeah,
I want to
yeah.
do, and I feel like now having seen that shit,
I
it
want to
will.
watch
but,
it again after WandaVision.
Yeah.
Yeah, because WandaVision was
But
special.
I mean, I think that's true. I think that
Oh,
this
yeah, I
Justice
think
League
so.
hits harder
Yeah.
than I mean, Avengers. The first Avengers hit hard as fuck,
Yeah.
but it just wasn't like it was. I mean, I think about then, and I'm like, I've seen everything now with Marvel. Like,
Yeah.
we've seen the Infinity, like the
Saga, yeah.
the saga,
And I think
So-
like Avengers, the first Avengers, it was more of a spectacle because of
We ain't
what
never
you
seen-
said.
we'd
Like,
never seen
it was a
such, like-
crossover. It was
Yeah.
like a huge
No one's ever done
celebration
that
of
shit.
Marvel and cinema doing something that's never been done
Ever,
before.
bro.
Yeah, and then
So-
everyone was on a
Ever.
rush to copy it.
Exactly.
Right, so
For real.
that was what made that movie, such a spectacle, such an epic. It was amazing. And it's a good movie, But I think if and Justice League don't have that same kind of epicness to it because they didn't go that route.
Mhm.
But in terms of just judging it like frame by frame and what I think is a better movie, I just think Justice League just was a bit better. I think Justice League had more heart to it. They
yeah.
were doing more fun stuff. You had like them going back in time and shit and, seeing the old gods,
Yeah.
do their thing. It was just more dimensions to it,
Yeah, no more like
Nah.
weird mustache face. Or,
Right,
right,
Barry
man.
wasn't awkward.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
Actually,
None
except
of
for the
that.
beginning, the way he got introduced. By the way,
Oh,
what
yeah.
do you
That's
think
the
about the introduction of Barry and that? And
That was
Iris
terrible.
West?
That was the worst. That to me, that scene right there was.
I wanted to know.
yeah.
You know what? Hold on. I gotta say, my first thought was he was gonna put it in her mouth.
I thought he was gonna
No.
take a bite. I was like, he's
Yeah.
about to take a bite of this.
Something about there's something about the flash scenes when everything is slow motion, but especially that one, there's something about those milliseconds that are happening right there
Yeah.
where what is how does that look in her head? She just blinks and
Yeah, it's probably
she's mid blink,
it's probably
she
yeah.
there's no way she even sees
probably
him.
didn't
But
see
he's
none
just
of that.
it's kind of
He's just caressing.
it feels
her hair.
yeah no it's kind of fucking weird sometimes. When I
Yeah.
watched it, I was like,
The
this is
scene
too long.
The scene was terrible for multiple reasons. Like that scene right there was the first scene where I was like, "Oh my goodness, this might end up being just as bad as the theater." And like if they
I didn't think that. I just thought
Well-
the slow motion just kind of makes me feel
well, because look, check it out. This
I
is
don't
why
know,
that scene is
disoriented.
so bad. Like if you break that scene down real quick, it's terrible. Look, so you have.
he ends with the puppies or the
But
cats.
you have a truck driver that's driving, and he's reaching down for 5 minutes in the city.
That drove me crazy.
That shit was
and I'm
hilarious.
like, are you kidding me right now? You're not on the freeway at nighttime. You're in the city, and he's just for
Gotta
5
get my
minutes.
goddamn-
Yeah, and then you have him, and instead of saving her real fast, he caresses her all weird and shit. I'm like, what are you doing, bro? You creep. And
Not
then
to mention, by the way, as he's pulling her down and he's doing it so fast, there's no way she's gonna land gently on the pavement.
yeah,
Right.
By the way, so
and to me, I just didn't. The joke was corny when it first started. I just didn't like that scene. That
I
was
feel
a
like
scene
it
I
was
put
super corny, but
Yeah.
I feel like it was needed for the reason to show the power that the Speed Force has, because he turns his shoes,
and it,
break
rip
off.
off.
That was cool.
the way he breaks the glass is a tap.
Oh yeah,
I love
that
that.
was cool.
I think like
that
you
shit
don't,
was
you don't
cool.
really
It,
understand
like,
the power that he actually has as
Yeah.
a
it showed what he
I
could
don't
do.
know.
Yeah,
He's
it
like
showed
these
what
godlike powers if you
Yeah.
can use them in the right way.
I
He's
mean,
just goofy.
Yeah,
He's-
that is a good point because it's like he was doing some clean shit, and if you pay attention outside of his goofiness, him making the glass almost
like a saran wrap.
yeah,
he's
you
tough,
know,
man. He just-
and then his
he went
shoes
right
just
through it.
rip off, and then the thunder, it was I'm like, yeah. So if you think about it, it's damn, he's a god.
Like it's different
mean-
to whenever the other slow mo's going on. It kind of separates it and it makes it feel like he is moving in this insanely speed.
speed,
cinematic speed.
yeah, for sure.
Yeah,
like
but
the
otherwise,
Flash.
I would say just in general from Barry is better in this cut, except for
think
that scene, minus
Except for
that
that
scene.
scene, right.
It
He's
could be
less
left out
awkward.
as far as all the Irish shit goes, but
Yeah.
for the Speed Force
Yeah.
alone, that's
To
just why I
give
felt like it
that
was
hint.
necessary because I was just damn, I don't know.
I mean, it comes
I
through
took
in
him
the
more
end,
seriously
you know?
in that moment, just seeing the power that he can. Just the glass tap alone for me.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm glad we got to see essentially what could be Flashpoint because they're
Right.
setting it up and this movie does a good job of setting up movies that are never going to happen because we have Deathstroke
Hell yeah.
knowing Bruce Wayne's
For real.
identity and that was supposed to be the Ben Affleck
I
directed,
know.
Yeah.
Ben Affleck written movie that's never
And
happening.
that scene was way better, by the way, because in the theaters at the end, it was whack as hell because he's like, let's make a league of our own.
Oh,
and I'm
yeah.
like,
He
bro,
didn't say
what-
that in this. Yeah,
I'm like, what league you gonna make that's gonna could fight the Justice League? Really,
For
bro?
real.
That
Come
was
on,
weak.
Jesse
Yeah,
Eisenberg.
that was whack. But in this one, he was like, Bruce Wayne. Batman is Bruce Wayne. It's like, damn, he tell Deathstroke and he smiles. I'm like, oh, now that's a much better.
He's like, you know what?
An eye for
we
an
should
eye.
celebrate.
I
love that part.
He's like, you believe in eye for an eye, and like, I was like, he's very good. This is like, this is probably the best.
That boy slayed.
This is the best Lex Luthor, and he did it in one scene.
Yeah, and they set up like Aquaman, like
Damn, bro,
actually, you know,
didn't get the fucking thing.
The Aquaman setup was actually legit setup to the actual movie that happened, if you think about it, because he got in his truck and was like, I'm gonna go see my dad. And remember at the beginning of Aquaman, he go to see his dad. Yeah, so that kind of actually ended up accidentally working.
Yeah, because they're setting up him taking his rightful place.
Well,
as
DC's done, I mean, with this Snyder Cut, they do a really good job of like, all right, it's like right after BVS, so we're just picking right up. It feels like it kind of like how.
And I like how they
did
that with Man of Steel too. Man of Steel going to BVS.
They're showing the end of Man of Steel.
I like how they
kind
of.
DC's been like now with this. That's like 3 straight movies that they just where they're doing some like Last Jedi, Force Awakens shit, where they're just like, all right, immediately the movie ends, we start right into the next one. Like that shit's cool.
And what I like about that is like, listen. The big mistake DC has made, the biggest mistake they've made was trying to be like Marvel. Like that was their biggest mistake. You know, they had more success if they not try to be like Marvel and do something different, you know? So if you trying to set up all of this stuff, like they try to do some weak stuff with Suicide Squad, and I remember it was some end credit scene that was atrocious, and like if they don't try to be like Marvel, I'm not saying they can't do like an individual movie and things like that, but like, don't try to be like them setting up everything, because Marvel is the masters at that. You're not going to be better than them. That's why they were, following in their footsteps so much, because it was like a bootleg Marvel. That's what they were, But if they do their own thing and just, and not worry about what Marvel do, and don't try to do like Marvel do. And I think that's the problem. So many people try to like act like, all right, this is the blueprint. Marvel did it this way. It was successful doing it this way. Now, everybody, anyone else that has a universe, cinematic...
Mummy.
Yeah, right.
Tom Cruise.
Yeah, and usually it don't work. You see what happened to that universe, that like Mummy, it was trash. Universe, and everyone's trying to do that now. Everyone's trying to have a shared universe, and no one's done it good yet. So it's like you might as well try to do something different, So
DC's just hit or miss, bro. They've been like
they're
that,
just hit or
but
miss.
I think they're due, and they've been showing that, which is good.
And
with
I
Joker,
actually,
and we got Batman coming. Shazam was good.
If
like,
you think about
this was good.
If you think about it, they start being successful when they stop trying to be like Marvel. Like think about it, like
Man of Steel.
If you think about, Aquaman, they just said, all right, let's just make a movie. Shazam, let's just make a movie. Joker, let's just make a movie. And let's not try to be like everybody. Yeah. Yes, Wonder Woman, they just made it. None of those movies connect. Now, technically, they're in a cinematic universe, but none of those movies connect. But it was when they was like Suicide Squad, BVS, and Justice League. That's when they were like shit in the bed, like what I'm saying? Because they was like, all right, we need to be like Marvel. Let's just make these movies, rush them out.
They were going like,
and they were
dropping trailers. Remember when we first saw the Suicide Squad trailer with the Joker? And he's like, I'm gonna hurt you. Well,
I was excited.
I know we were like kind of excited, but I think within a day or two, we were all saying like that shit was kind of trash. Because I was just like, we just started saying like, I'm gonna hurt you. Really, I was just like, damn, that shit ain't that good.
Yeah. So I don't know. That's just my take on it. But I think with this, even though I don't think this universe is gonna continue with the Snyderverse, I think this is like a W just for this movie. I like this movie as a movie. It sucks that it's not gonna like continue. I don't think it will, but for this movie, it was a good movie. You know what I'm saying? It's an L if you look at it like their universe as a whole, but if you just look at it as a movie, a what if movie, like those used to be a thing in the comics, like what if one-offs. If you look at it like that, it was a good movie.
I mean, I just hope that they make it canon and continue with it.
I mean, that's only gonna happen if
the hype builds. I feel
if the hype builds and people are like petitioning. Give Zack Snyder the fucking blah blah.
And I feel like maybe
Justice League 2.
Justice League 2, yeah. And
I
like
feel
let him just do whatever he wants.
maybe do that. Like from what I've seen, like I would definitely be interested in seeing.
Oh, we'll cancel Warner Brothers.
I think Zack has publicly said he's done with it. He's walking away.
And that's what I was saying yesterday. That I was like, isn't he like? Didn't he say this is the last I want to be involved?
No, well, actually, I watched like a couple interviews, and he was like, basically the way he explained it was Warner Brothers told him like, look, this is it. you know, and you know, this is just a one-off Elseworld. And he was like, you know, if that possibility was possible, then I would be willing to do it, but it's an impossibility based off what Warner Brothers has said. You know, so I think he's already looking at it like, look, they're not gonna do it. But the thing about it is, it's like, people thought the Snyder Cut was impossible. You know, who would have thought,
you give me like, that's literally the absolute last thing that I thought was gonna happen.
Right.
That
So
they'd be like, hey, you do your own thing, Zack Snyder.
Yeah. So if they did that with that, then that, to me, it's a bigger chance of us getting a sequel to this than them making a Snyder Cut.
Hell yeah.
So I think it's still a possibility. If enough people like want it, then Warner Brothers gonna be like, damn, we can make some money. Shit, we need
I feel
to
like
do
it even opens up the possibility for like, I don't know, like introducing like Cyborg maybe into the Flash movie and like bringing stuff like that, because I know that like if there's like you're saying, like Cyborg's the heart of this movie, like I know that resonates with a lot of the people that have seen this, because I've heard that same thing like over and over. So why, I don't know, I feel like they've been listening to the audience, like the Snyder Cut wouldn't have come out otherwise.
Right. Exactly.
Right.
So
and
I feel like it opens it up for possibility.
Yeah,
for
it's
sure.
a possibility. And then with Flashpoint, you could restart a bunch of shit. You
Hell yeah.
could do anything.
And that's the thing about like Flashpoint is what I like. That's why like the touch of importance that Sam was talking about Flash, like we're talking about like all these universes and how the shit is not connected. Boy, that's that shit to connect it right there. on top of that, it's like in Flash, we already know that Michael Keaton's cast. We already know he's cast. We already know Ben Affleck. So we already know that this shit is gonna be like like if they're already down to do this kind of stuff, I feel like anything kind of goes. Well, but as far as I'm concerned,
if
like,
you think about it, the Snyder Cut of Justice League talks about a multiverse, but the theatrical cut never did. So
never did, right?
At least we know like that.
They opened the door.
In theory, like, you know, this could be like both movies could be considered canon, but one's like its own like branching timeline kind of stuff.
Yeah, so it could be cool, man. It could be cool. It's a possibility. I don't think the door is completely closed yet. I do think it's unlikely, but the door is still
Stranger
open.
things have happened.
Right. Stranger things has happened.
I agree.
I want to give two shout outs. Number one, I want to give a shout out to the climax of the movie where like the fight was way better.
Way better, man.
The Snyder Cut.
I mean,
the Russian family.
Before we even say like the fight scenes, Steppenwolf alone.
Oh yeah,
like not even the fight.
We watched
scene.
the side by side comparison of.
yeah.
He looked derpy as fuck in the
He
theatrical
was so
cut.
bad.
When
So
Steppenwolf like first dropped in, when I saw that, I was just like, "This is it! Like this is
Bro,
already
it's
better."
insane.
This is
Yeah.
already
He was
better.
going to town on them Amazonians too, man. The
Yeah.
bloodshed. I'm like, oh.
And what made Steppenwolf better, in my opinion, is like, I think one, they did a better design. He doesn't look as corny and like.
He's got motivation.
Yeah, you know, he has motivation, better CGI. It looks a lot better, and them making it rated R when he's literally cutting motherfuckers in half.
The blood splats.
It's like it makes
my
him more menacing and scary. Like he's gonna cut your ass in half. You know what I mean?
Hell yeah.
And so I just think they did a better. He's a better villain now. Like he went from being a bad villain to a pretty good villain.
Very above average.
Above average
Yeah.
villain, yeah, like it's crazy. So yeah, and I agree with Louis, man. The ending, man, it was
Like
way
the
better.
no stupid Russian family that like Flash was
Oh,
kind of like
yeah, that
you know,
was dumb
like,
as
they- okay,
fuck.
the climax.
pointless.
There was two things wrong with the climax that they did wrong. Number one, the Flash having to do errands. Like first off, it felt like everybody had to do like their own errand to be useful, right?
Yeah.
Because Superman come in here and making everyone here out here looking like they're useless.
Yeah,
So they got to do something to do.
fuck
And then
yeah.
everyone is fighting Steppenwolf one at a time and stuff instead of doing combo attacks. And in this Snyder Cut, they're doing combo attacks.
They're doing
I'm like-
combos and shit. Yeah, and that's
and
a
then,
good point.
and then on top of that, they make Batman be a little bitch in the Whedon cut because
Yeah. Oh my God.
like in the Whedon in the theatrical cut. Batman has this like complex, like, oh my god, I feel useless. I don't have any powers and stuff like that. He's like, let me die for you guys. And I'm like, whereas in this one, he's like being a strategist. You know?
What, Batman is strategy.
And he's actually like, all right, this is the plan. This is what he's like, whatever happens, just do what we're saying. Like that makes sense. He wasn't acting like a little bitch.
Yeah.
And he wasn't being like, oh, like that something's bleeding or whatever.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like
Oh, God.
none of that bullshit slapstick
That was
shit.
whack.
To put what you're saying in context, in the theater version, he was dimmed down to helping to push the Russian truck out of the city. That was his job in the theater version. And then in the Snyder cut, he's literally saving the fucking planet by reversing time. So it was like, oh my
everybody
goodness.
had a part to play.
Everybody had a part, yeah.
Things are more cohesive.
Because if you think about it, it was really cool because like, okay, you had, Flash, he had to reverse time to save the world. You had to have Wonder Woman, you had, Cyborg is unhacking the shit or whatever, and then you have Wonder Woman and Aquaman walking, like trying to stop Steppenwolf from fucking with him. Yeah, so everyone is doing something, you know what I mean?
Batman's fighting a shit ton of parademons.
And Batman out there going ham on him.
He's got his
lasers and shit.
So it was like all the Justice League was completely useful. They all needed each other. It was better, and they would, like you said, they doing badass combos and shit. Like in Avengers, when you remember when you first seen them do combos,
it was so Iron Man, Captain America combo.
So it was like it was much better. And then Superman appearing in this was way better than how he appeared in the last one. So like the ending was just so much better, man.
I agree.
Yeah, and Superman was corny as fuck in the theatrical cut. He's like, I believe in justice and everything like that. Dude, he was like, he just come here and acting like a boss. He's like, I'm not impressed.
Yeah,
like that's way more better.
Do you believe? What did he say?
He said, do you believe? It's so cringy.
It's so bad.
And he's all like,
oh my
makes
God.
me cry.
I can't believe how like who said, oh yeah, that's good. Let's put it out.
They're like what? It fits into 2 hours. Put this shit in.
Oh God, man! The theater version, like even talking about it, it reminds me of how atrocious the theatrical version was.
We watched the side by side whenever Bruce he was talking to Barry, getting him on the team. He's like, I'm in. The side by side was terrible because like he got in the theatrical cut, he's like talking about brunch and shit like that, and like he goes on and on and on, but somehow, some way. Because even though Zack Snyder took his sweet time with more slow motion and more like, he still managed to make the scene last the same amount of time.
Yeah, dude.
Which is crazy.
So speak on that. Like, what y'all think was bad about the Snyder Cut?
Bad.
I could start like you brought it up.
Yeah, I feel like you need to start with that because I have to like really hear you out.
I like how Zack Snyder uses slow motion. But damn, it was repetitive.
It was super slow.
When Aquaman is walking with the bottle and it's slow mo, they could have done that normal speed. It would have taken 30 seconds. It was like a 2 minutes, like just.
And you're feeling like that, and you haven't even seen a third of the movie.
The Amazonians, whenever they're like breaking the
damn, I was gonna say
that shit forever.
I know. Well, that's the thing I've like never liked about DC movies is the slow motion.
Yeah,
most of them, and like not. I mean,
because there's Zack Snyder,
especially Zack Snyder's like. And like the overuse of that shit really takes me out sometimes because it's like I've seen so many like high octane like super crazy intense fights in like Marvel movies, bro. Because like they'd be fighting fast as fuck, really choreographed, and they could do the same thing with DC. They could do the exact same thing. And then like they just choose to just.
Well, see, it's a Zack Snyder thing. Like, and it's
when it's fast, or it's heavy.
And Man of Steel is weird because it's like he changed the styles because in Man of Steel, all that shit was fast and it looked badass.
Oh
like, when the Kryptonians are moving in super speed and shit, it was like dope as hell. And then like somewhere around like when he started doing Batman v Superman, like. He started using slow motion, but he even upped it in this. It's like every fucking thing is slow motion. I'm like.
It's pretty overwhelming.
Rescuing the kids.
It's like slow motion.
And even if he just made the action scene slow motion, that'll be at least better than. Like, I mean, normal shit, it'd be slow motion.
Yeah.
It's like, why does
like,
this
walking
need to
out
be
to the end of the pier, why does it need to be in slow
motion?
Why?
Man, he overused the fuck out of it. And it was like, at some points, it really, to me, hurt the action because I'm like, I just want to see that regular. I don't want to. And he used the slow motion where it almost stops. Like, the frame is like.
On top of that, I mean, all right, on top of the slow motion thing, the original cut. The CGI was so fucking bad. I literally, I cannot. I mean, the movie already sucked. But then you got like the way it actually looks, like the actual presentation of the film. Just like, damn, like what the fuck? Why does this shit look like Xbox 360, bro? Why does this shit look like trash?
PS2 sometimes.
Oh yeah, straight up. And the thing is, with the color palette on this one, they kind of dimmed it, they toned it down and shit. So I like it personally that way. Mm-hmm. But with the fucking with
the brighter color,
I feel like with this movie, I feel like that is like a huge fucking thing that is like very important in this movie. I feel like that's one of the very big reasons that I don't really think about or might necessarily think about first. But I'm like, damn, like that shit really had a lot to do with how this movie felt, you know, with the tone and the way the fucking movie.
So you didn't like the color pattern of the Snyder Cut? Or you did?
No, I didn't, because the CGI was so fucking bad
in the Snyder Cut,
in the original cut. And the thing about that is they did improve it, but the CGI in the Snyder Cut is just kind of like, it's kind of toned down, or it's kind of covered. It's like makeup. It's like it kind of just,
it has a darker shade.
It just kind of like helps out. It kind of like
the darker color makes it so it hides in masks.
Yeah, like there's shadows. You know, you kind of like, you know, a lot of that shit can hide bad CGI. But
and it works for some things, but for some things.
Yeah,
I really want to see the Snyder Cut, but with the Justice League color palette.
Because I mean, the aspect.
I want the color grading of Justice League, but the same Snyder Cut.
See, I don't. Only reason why I don't like the theatrical version with Joss Whedon is like he made unnecessary colors. Like at the end, when you just got a red sky, it's like what the fuck?
The reds, and that is one of the.
I hate that.
All right, you know what? I'll give you that one,
dude. That's it's just made it looks like shit, dude.
Yeah,
it's so
it
bad.
Looks terrible.
You think you just put like the Marvel like color grade like
for real? He had the intro, the fucking.
Yeah, somewhere in there. Like I don't know.
So what did you not like about it?
Oh, that's what I said. I didn't like the color grading.
Okay,
I actually.
You said that yesterday.
Yeah, when we were watching, like, okay, Barry's literally wearing the same fucking hoodie in the side by side, but you could barely tell that his hoodie was red. In the Snyder Cut.
Yeah,
it was like black with like little
beige.
Like it looked like burgundy. Like, you know what I mean? Like, and then in the theatrical cut, it's like bright red. It's very pronounced, and I appreciate that color grading better. Like I like the Snyder Cut. I like the aspect ratio. I liked everything. I actually enjoyed it very much so. Like it makes sense, good pacing. It didn't feel its length. So I don't really have I can't really think of any like negative things other than like an aesthetic.
Yeah, right.
So
and I do feel like certain scenes could have been taken. Like like we were talking about the Flash scene. I didn't really like that introduction of Flash. I don't really like the way they did it, but I could have did without that. But I don't think that made it like, oh, that was terrible.
It made it worse. I don't think it like drops it down to score.
Yeah, and I'm not really. I wasn't a big fan of Martian Manhunter appearing at the end. Like at the end, I wasn't a fan of that at all.
You know, it doesn't. You
know
the
way
it was so stupid.
It was also very corny.
It was corny
and
CGI.
And the
CGI reminded me of the theatrical cut. That shit was terrible.
But I was gonna say like it was very. If you think about the tagline in the theatrical cut, like whenever like they're putting out posters and it says "Unite the Seven," there's only 6 members of the Justice League in the theatrical cut. Yeah. So I'm guessing the 7th is either Martian Manhunter or it's one of the Green Lanterns because apparently Zack Snyder said on interviews that he asked Ryan Reynolds to appear in.
I mean, Ryan Reynolds did a live tweet of his watch of the Justice League, and he was like, "What the fuck? This is amazing! Like, imagine like what
But I think the reason why Martian Manhunter didn't work at the end of that is because it was dumb because. They made him the general guy from Man of Steel, or whatever. So that means he was there during the Man of Steel invasion, didn't do shit. He was there doing Batman v Superman, didn't do shit, and he was there during the Justice League shit and didn't do shit. And the thing,
just watching people die.
And the thing about it is, like, that's what I'm about to say. Superman died because you didn't help, and then the Justice League, the world ended. If it wasn't for Flash and he could rewind time, literally the world ended. So you would have allowed Superman to die, and you would have allowed the world to end, and you ain't do shit, and then you show up at the end like, here, I'm here to help. What the fuck?
You're not even here to help. I'm here I'm here for the
sequel.
Yeah, I'm trying to be in this club.
I'm like, hell no. After we done did all this shit, you gotta earn your stripes, bro.
Like, we got a human being in some tights, bro. Like we literally have a human being. He ain't even got no fucking powers. And
he out here, he out here doing his thing, and you with all these damn powers, they doing shit. I just didn't like Martian Man. I felt like it would have been better if like he opened his eyes and he's on Mars or some shit, and it would like at least it would have made sense. Like he's not on Earth, and maybe he knew he needed to come after he found out that Darkseid. And then the movie ends. Yeah. And then I was like, okay, well he haven't been there. You know, you can't blame someone for not being there. But if you're just right there and you're not doing shit, I was like, that shit was dumb. So that right there, I would have took out in like a couple of scenes, but it's really nitpicky stuff. It's not like any big like man, this terrible plot hole, or like this, this character sucked. Like at least with Batman v Superman, I was like, I hated Lex Luthor, so that was any scene with Lex, I was like, I didn't like that scene. You know what I mean? So, but there's no character in this like that.
What did fucking Jesse Eisenberg say? He said, some things are coming.
The red capes are coming.
The red capes are coming. Yeah.
It was just too silly. Like, yeah.
He's all whimsical.
Yeah, I'm like, oh God, I hate this dude so much. That was the worst casting in history of comic books.
It was direction and writing. Come on, man.
They should have gave it to Jason Statham.
But I mean,
I don't think he could have done it.
Hell
I don't
no,
think
he
he
would
could
have
have done it no matter what.
Yeah, no.
I
I mean, he did Hobbs and Shaw, so he couldn't have done that shit.
I mean, obviously, we could tell with like what they're doing with Lex Luthor's characters. They wanted him to be very much like a Mark Zuckerberg Facebook kind of like CEO.
Kind of like,
They're trying to make him a modernized.
I see what they were doing.
I guess.
It just didn't work.
Yeah. I don't know. Like Lex Luthor in the original
Lex Luthor
in the
was, like,
cartoons,
such
I was
a
just like that
staple.
I didn't like translate that to Jesse Eisenberg. I was like,
that
what?
was so stupid.
I was like, what
Because the
fuck?
cartoons and the comics are very much like the Gene Hackman.
I was expecting like a Tony Stark-esque type of
Almost
fucking
like
Lex Luthor,
Kingpin
like a
type of
fucking
deal.
Yeah,
even that
and
too.
if you look at the way Batman v Superman wrote Lex Luthor, it was cool because he was kind of menacing and he was like pulling strings behind the scenes, and that was such a Lex Luthor thing. But it was like Jesse Eisenberg added so much of the quirky, corny shit to it. It was like it was unnecessary for what was written on the page. But I don't even want to get into how terrible that was. But I like the epilogue. Other than that, I like the epilogue with like
two things. Number one, the Joker and Batman and Ben Affleck, they didn't even film together. They filmed separately.
That's crazy.
That's crazy.
They just like
and also
merged those fucking
they did the takes and stuff like that. And secondly, Barry did his over Zoom. Because
I seen that. Yeah,
they
was
were
Fantastic Beasts. He was filming Fantastic Beasts.
Everybody was all doing. They got different schedules. Reshoots are happening. And then COVID.
How the hell he do that? It was through Zoom, bro. Like he
like the
Zack Snyder directed him through Zoom.
Like, hey, do this wherever you at, and do this. And I'm like, how does that look like? What the fuck?
That's wild.
And then
he's got a green screen behind him.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
I mean, that makes sense. Like.
Everyone had to shoot their scenes as quickly as possible because they had a lot. It was a lot of CGI.
I just don't see how the quality don't look like Zoom. Like, you know what I mean? Like,
they pulled it off.
Yeah, they pulled it off. Zach is good at like the technical shit. I think Zach is real good at technical shit.
Also, there's gonna be a black and white version coming out on HBO Max. It's gonna be called the Justice is Gray edition.
Yeah.
That's what they were telling me too.
There's gonna be a black and white cut coming out, and it's gonna have additional Joker footage.
Scenes. Yeah.
That's what I mean. I've seen Zack Snyder's pictures of Joker with the Jesus fucking thing.
Because I hated Joker. And Suicide Squad, and I didn't just love him in this, but he was better because he was dumbed down.
I definitely tolerated him.
Yeah, I could tolerate him.
He had his little laugh.
It's like oh God, the worst laugh in history. Like if he didn't do that laugh, I was like, okay, he's trying to redeem himself here.
I mean, at this point, he could just copy someone else's Joker laugh, and I'd be like, fuck it.
I don't
care.
This is my Joker laugh.
Yeah,
I'd have been like, bro, like why is it Zach or anyone telling him no, don't do that laugh? Like, why are they allowing him to do that?
I agree. I agree. I tolerated that. I was
more
like, man,
tolerable. Yeah.
I mean, I just felt I was like, okay, like if he's gone through more shit in that at that moment of time, in that maybe he's gone more insane. He's not. He's like, man. I mean, Darkseid's already taken over the fucking world.
We got Troy said it yesterday when we were talking about it. Troy said, "I'm glad we got Darkseid in film, like in live."
Yeah. That was what I was.
How could Thanos be out for over 3 years and we've
Longer
still
than that.
not seen Darkseid, and we still ain't seen Darkseid? That's fucking crazy.
Yeah, I was just happy that he was in the damn movie. Like even if we don't get to see what the hell goes on, or even for the bit of time he was in, I was just happy he was in the movie, man. Like it, just to see him, he was a badass. The scenes he had was badass. So
yeah, I feel the same way. Like I just feel like there wasn't that equivalent to like the Marvel universe with Thanos, like any character in the DC universe. Until I saw like that bit of like
what was it?
What's his name? Dead Seed.
Deathstroke.
Deathstroke, yeah.
Darkseid.
Darkseid.
Darkseid. Yeah.
He said dead.
Cool.
Yeah,
so
but
the beers are getting to me. But yeah, no, I was just like when he came on screen, I was just like, hell yeah, like finally, like you know what I mean? It was like long overdue.
Thanos version for DC. Like,
I think with Darkseid's first introduction, just seeing like Steppenwolf talking to Desaad, or even that was really the all. I mean, that technically wasn't when fucking Diana went down to the under the fucking whatever.
Yeah.
That little I don't know, was she in Greece or whatever?
Yeah,
like
for the arrow that was shot and stuff.
And she saw, you know, like the fucking the hieroglyphics and shit. And I was like, damn, like
they set him up good,
bro. I mean just that little picture alone was. I was like, that's scary as fuck.
Yeah, they set him up.
I was like, that's a scary fucking picture.
And personally, I think we got more dark side than I thought we were gonna get. We got like the throwback dark side where he was fighting and shit, fucking up the Green Lanterns and shit. And then we
chopped that hand off.
Yeah, that shit was clean as hell. And then we got like him like on Apocalypse, or whatever they show him on Apocalypse, he's walking around. So it was pretty cool, man. It was pretty cool.
Man, we've been talking about Justice League for about an hour, so let's go ahead and keep it moving here. But before we do that, before we do that, let's give our final closing thoughts, and I'll let.
Are we gonna score it?
Yeah, let's go ahead and score it.
But you said final thoughts. So
yeah,
final thoughts first.
Like anything.
Thoughts
as far as like, is there anything that we haven't already said that you want to just put on record?
I think. First of all, DC, if you're watching this, I don't give a fuck. No, I think Zack Snyder, if he's really done with it, fine. But
give us a comic run.
If I don't know, I mean, if in any way they could continue this, you know, who knows kind of story, like what would happen kind of story, you know, alternate timeline in some sort, or
animated movie,
or animated show or some shit, that'd be cool. But like, if he's really done with DC, you know, like fucking kudos to he dropped the fucking mic. He said
he spiked the mic.
Like he really went out like a boss, dude. If this is his last DC thing, I was like, that's because I remember when I first watched Justice League, I gave it like a 4 or 5, maybe. I think at the max. I remember saying that, and so I was like, how could you do that? What? Oh, I'm like, dude. I mean, I love this. Like, these are the characters I grew up with. That's all I wanted, man. These are the characters I grew up with, bro. These are more than anything because there's only there's Spider-Man, there's X-Men. That's pretty much all I can really remember always watching. That's a Marvel property as a kid. Yeah. Because those are the only cartoons that really slap, bro. Like
Batman animated series slap.
But I'm talking about Marvel. Yeah. But I'm saying like the characters I grew up with. Yeah. I would be on WB33, bro.
Yeah.
Kids WB. I'd wake up in the morning, watch everything, bro. Watch every and all the shows were fucking DC properties.
Static Shock.
Sure. Batman animated series, fucking Batman Beyond, Justice League animated, Justice League Unlimited, everything. Like all those shows were the only to me when I first started watching the MCU, the reason I love the MCU now so much is because I had those 10 fucking years to love the MCU, to learn to be like, okay, these are the characters. That's the only reason I had any interest in going back and reading comics or reading former these stories that were are fucking 50, 60 years old. And that's why I wanted something so much out of this movie. And I think after growing up with these characters and really as an 8-year-old, 9-year-old, I knew these characters as much as I could have known. I knew everything about the TV shows and how their origins, blah blah, and little bits of comics. But I never knew that about X-Men or Spider-Man. I knew Spider-Man. I thought Spider-Man and his villains, and that was his universe. And I thought X-Men was their villains and their universe and shit. You know, but. Fucking DC character, but we knew everything, bro. Teen Titans, goddamn. The list goes on and on of animated shows that those motherfuckers and movies
and animated movies,
that they have just put out that are just good as fuck. Plenty that are bad, but plenty that are fucking good. And so that's why when they did this shit with Justice League and they give Zack Snyder the reins and for him to come through, I have to give this movie a 9 out of 10.
Damn.
I give it a 9 out of 10. I know that score's pushing it for some people, but I'm me personally, I felt damn, it ain't all the Justice League. It's the littlest little chunk of fucking food. Yeah. It's just chips. It's chips. It's fucking dude, this movie, it just made me happy. I mean, I enjoyed the movie. I give it a 9 out of 10. That movie made me happy as fuck.
Yeah, I would.
There's things that I'll nitpick.
I kind of sort of feel your sentiments and stuff like that. I definitely feel there's definitely a high buzz that I'm still riding off of, and it's been a couple of days since I've seen it.
You might have to rewatch it. 4 hours.
I feel I don't trust my initial reactions. I don't trust myself to review movies as I've been doing spoilers with Machuca on the YouTube channel and stuff like that. I kind of want to just take my score and then subtract 2 just so that way I can
just in case.
So I'm gonna just go with a 7.5 to feel safe.
That's a solid grade.
That's not bad. I mean, should I give it a 4 or 5? In the first game?
So I would say that, and I want to see the Warner Brothers spend money on magnetic tape and then release this bitch on VHS,
Yeah.
I will buy it.
Yeah.
I would buy.
I would too,
I want a
man.
2-pack, like like Titanic, and like this. It's
The
literally
two sides, the two
yeah,
cassettes.
Two
Okay.
cassettes. Yeah, like I want that.
That'd be dope.
I will buy it.
That'd
And
be dope.
you could charge $150. I will buy it
Yeah,
because
that'd be
that
dope.
bitch is probably expensive to
Yeah.
manufacture because they don't have facilities that make that anymore. So
Exactly.
So Troy, go for it.
Yeah, a lot of how I feel is like how what Joel said. I grew up on DC. I became a Marvel fan once the cinematic universe. I literally learned about like Thor and all of them when the Marvel Cinematic Universe started. So for me to see DC finally get a W instead of like a L. I think it was dope, and to me, honestly, the way this movie was made, it was like a celebration of DC film. It was like a celebration of the DC fans or the DC world, if you will, because like they had so many different things that was like Easter eggs, and when you go back in the past and you see Green Lantern and Zeus and all them motherfuckers, and then like Ares.
Ares.
Oh, he went hard.
It was so many cool little things for if you were a fan, a DC. It was like here you go, finally, here goes some good shit, and it pissed me off because it's like if you get any movie wrong in the DC, do not get Justice League wrong. Like don't fuck up Justice League. If you get any
That's why
movie
everybody
wrong,
felt so bad.
yeah, like you
The first one.
fuck up Suicide Squad. I don't care. Fuck up Shazam. I don't care if you mess up any of these movies, but you don't mess up Justice League. That's our Avengers for like the event. That's for the
us
DC
kids
fans.
that
Yeah,
grew up with that shit.
right.
you know?
And so for Zach to get this one right, even if you didn't like his other films, for him to get this one right, I think it was dope. So I give it an 8.5 out of 10.
Yeah. I was leaning towards that grade too. I was, but I had to boost it up a little bit, just because the first one was so bad.
I think all three of the grades are solid though. Like we're all in the same.
That's why I was like, I can't go 0.5, 9.5. I think that's too high.
Yeah.
But a 9 is a great grade. I think
Amazing.
it's an A.
Definitely.
It's an A.
Sam.
Yes.
Well, I definitely don't think I could speak
that's
on
right.
it.
You can't. That's right. I forgot.
100%, but I can definitely share the same sentiment. Like just from watching it, like when I was earlier today, just I don't know, like it's what I grew up on. Also, it's like just it makes sense. Like this is what we should have seen to begin with from the Justice League. Like this is what like should have been introduced the first time. So I'm just really happy to see that like starting. So can't give a grade right now, but
Yeah.
I have high hopes for sure.
All right. Cool. Let's go ahead and switch
For sure.
gears. Let's go ahead and switch gears to Falcon and the Winter Soldier. Now, I feel like this ain't gonna be an hour talk because it's
not. But but the thing about like even if I haven't seen it, there's plenty of things I could say about this show or
Okay.
talk about. There's just it's
So, like, I gotta say right now, first and foremost, they showed off their cool action scene. Like, they started off with, how like Captain America, the Winter Soldier, started off with them on that boat and stuff, and they're trying to do
jumping-
like
the heist with Black Widow.
yeah, they're trying to do a
fucking
cool.
Crossbone.
They open it with like just action, like right off the bat, and that's what they did with this thing. They had Falcon go out and do like a mission for like the Air Force, and he goes out and just basically skydives with his wingsuit, and he just goes and does some cool shit and stuff like that. He uses Red Wing. He's got the Red Wing has an AI and everything like that. He's showing his powers, and that's really cool. And I don't know, like it does feel a little very samey, very carbon copying and stuff like that, which is kind of crazy because it's what I wanted. Like going into it, I was the most hyped for this show out of like WandaVision and Loki. I was the most hyped for this one because I knew what I was gonna get. I was thinking it was gonna be some cool intrigue, some espionage, some cool spy shit. But now it's like I don't know, like it just kind of feels. I got of course it's only like episode 1 and there's like 5 more to go, but reserving judgment aside, I'm like I don't know. In the one hand, they're focusing on character. They're focusing on like Sam, him and dealing with like living as like a black man in America and stuff. He can't get alone and all that stuff, even though he's an Avenger. And
really, that's like the type of shit they be going with.
Yeah, that's what they had him
I
do.
mean, I saw shit on Twitter, like, but I mean, damn.
Yeah, they're doing stuff. They're really emphasizing on characters. And Sam and Bucky, they never even met in the episode yet. They've been having separate parallel storylines, and so I felt like they're doing that on purpose to like set the groundwork to like get you invested in the characters. And I'm not sure if it's working for me. I'm not sure if it's landing.
I mean, I feel like we talked about this yesterday. Like with the show, even if I haven't seen it, like I feel like I'm kind of like, I'm kind of disconnected with both those characters anyway. Like because like as much as they were like, they've been in the MCU for like over 5 years.
Yeah.
So they've been in there for a while, and like shit, Winter Soldier was Anthony Mackie's fucking Marvel debut. Like, what the fuck? Like that meant like that he was, you know, when we found out he was the Falcon, I was like, okay, that's fucking badass. But at the same time, I was just like, like I just feel like I'm done with these two characters after the fucking Infinity Saga. Like I just feel like I just don't have that much like intrigue. Even with Zemo coming back, I'm just like, I didn't give a fuck about Zemo back then. He was weak as fuck.
Zemo was the only part about that movie that
like,
I didn't like.
And he could have been like badass, and maybe this is his chance to finally come back and be badass. But at the same time, just like that little motherfucker from fucking Inglourious Bastards. Goddamn, like I just was like, I don't know, like and then with Bucky, like shit, Cap's gone. Like Cap's gone. That's the thing, is like I'm supposed to like just be like, okay, like him and Falcon have the best chemistry. Like they have a couple funny scenes together in like in Civil War.
But they're not friends.
But they're in like like I'm like they're cool and shit. But like I don't know why I feel so disconnected with them now, because I thought like first of all, like Falcon's just he's a human with like some tech. But he's not Iron Man. You know, Iron Man is Iron Man. He's Tony Stark. But like Anthony Mackie is like, for some reason, or Anthony Mackie fucking Falcon. Yeah. I don't know. I feel like at this point, I've seen more crazy shit that I'm just like.
You could say the same thing about Wanda and Vision. Like people haven't really invested or cared about Wanda.
Well, but that was a big surprise about WandaVision, is that like, damn, care about I like these characters that I never gave a. For like, I mean, honestly, if WandaVision didn't come out, I would have fucking felt the same way, because I would have been like, if they put them in something, if I had never seen WandaVision and I saw the next fucking Doctor Strange movie, I would have been like, this shit. I don't give a fuck about Wanda. Like, fuck Wanda. Like, to be honest, it's like she's cool, but at the same time, I knew at that point, when the fuck is she gonna become the Scarlet Witch? When fucking Quicksilver's dead already. Like, and at that point, she was like, she just didn't play that big of a part in the movies. Like, she had to kill Vision, but like at the same time,
it's like you kind of gotta see. You gotta become a believer. Yeah, you gotta see it to play out. Yeah, and that might be the case with this. You know, like you might need to see it, and then you'll say, "Oh, damn, maybe there is something interesting about these two characters when they meet and find out." You know, they probably just born at the moment.
Yeah, it's possible that we'll fall in love with them and they'll become like fan favorites again. Yeah, there's a possibility, and I'm not gonna say that's not. But right now, just right now, like. The whole Bucky's got this crazy thing where he's like going to see a psychiatrist or whatever and get therapy and stuff for his trauma, and I feel like that's a natural progression for his character to go in. But for me, like, I wasn't really like interested. It wasn't really riveting material for me, and I don't know, like maybe it pans out in the end, but for now it just seems like, I don't know, boring.
And that's what I'm afraid of.
Yeah, I mean, for me, it's boring. This show, the first episode, you know, and I will say this, like, it does go the way it ends. It goes somewhere where you're like, okay, this can be this can be intriguing next episode. Like, it gets somewhere where you're like, okay, at least there's something that makes me want to watch the next episode.
45 minutes, inciting incident.
Yeah, you know, but. I personally, I think the show was boring, and actually, more than just boring, I just didn't like the show. Like, I mean, the first episode, I ain't gonna say the show, but the first episode I didn't like, because, you know, they went with cliche shit, you know, like, you weren't expecting me to believe that Anthony Mackie, he needs, you know, money. He has a sister out of nowhere, and it's like, oh, he needs money. They need money. They're trying to get a loan. It's like, cut it out. You're in the Avengers, bro. Like, somebody gonna give you some money. Like, I don't, like, it's such a cliche kind of thing, and it's like, I remember talking to you yesterday, and you was like, you know, well, WandaVision didn't have any action or whatever, you know, but it was like, for me, what makes something interesting is what you're invested in with the characters. WandaVision, to me, I was always intrigued with what was going on. Like, I always felt like they were setting up. It was like a mystery unraveling. So even if it wasn't nothing going on, I was intrigued with what these characters were doing, and I was intrigued to see what this unraveled to. But with this, it was like the action. You know, it's just pointless action, kind of. It's like just act. So, like, for me, action needs to have context behind it for it to be cool. Like, oh shit, he's running from this monster, and stakes, and it's like it start off with just a bunch of random action. And I'm like, okay,
like,
you know.
cool looking shots.
Yeah, it looks cool. And then so like the action, wasn't really big on, and then. The story, the characters, is like they were trying to make these like character development episode. Like, you know, you supposed to Bucky is straight up boring. Like, Bucky has no personality, and so it just didn't work in so many ways.
Okay. Have you had a chance to see it?
I've seen it, yeah.
Oh, okay, cool. Go for it.
I feel the same way. I thought it was so boring. I just like, I don't know, like the first like intro little action scene, I was like, okay, cool. Like this is, I don't know. I was pretty into it, but then it just went on and it was just like, I don't know. As far as like the Winter Soldier goes, like that storyline is just like, I feel like it started at like 100 and what they're bringing him down to is just like so uninteresting. It's like, it's like, how are you gonna like bring him in as the Winter Soldier and now he's just like in therapy trying to work? Like,
he was the Winter Soldier.
And then they made
He's going on a weird ass awkward date.
It's so weird.
He's like 150 years old.
And to your point, they made the therapy session boring. He's
Really?
even like not talking in the therapy session. I was like, come on, bro. Like, and they had like on an awkward date, but my bad. Go
But
ahead.
yeah, no, exactly. It's just like, I don't know. The other side of it too is just like the Falcon from the Avengers that's helped save the world. Like can't get a loan.
Yeah.
It's like, come on.
Come on.
Well, he doesn't have 5 years worth of income.
That sounds like just some comedy.
So
that
yeah,
ain't
I
gonna
just feel like
land,
they're just
bro.
trying to like, I don't know, add in like these little points that are just like trying to give some like backstory to these characters, which I understand, but it's not landing for me at this point. I just didn't pull me in enough. I don't know.
Yeah, they were trying to be all realistic with the snap or the blip or whatever. It's like, oh, you don't have 5 years worth of income.
Yeah,
you know?
it's like,
I'm like, what?
Idiot? That part right there was the dumbest shit
I take him to the compound. You see my house?
Yeah.
This shit's like a $6 billion fucking house.
I don't know. I think it just wasn't, I hopefully the next episode can be good. And one of the things I did I like how we didn't see Bucky and Falcon meet. Yeah, I like that because to me it's setting up a big meeting. Whether it's in the second or third episode, it's gonna like when they do meet, it's gonna be like, oh fuck, they're finally together. So that was unique and cool. But it started out.
It kind of seems like Sam has more screen time though. I will say that.
Yeah,
it doesn't feel
feels
even.
like like Sam is more like he's the main character, and I'm like Bucky is a sub character or something. Like matter of fact, we didn't see Sam for like the first maybe 30 minutes.
Yeah, we didn't see Bucky for like 20 minutes into the episode.
Yeah, we didn't see Bucky for the like first 20 minutes.
Because Sam was ball hogging. If you think about it, he did his thing where he's giving the speech about Captain America giving the shield back, and then he's got the cool 15-minute action scene where he's flying around in the canyon.
Yeah, really.
15 minutes long of just
he's fighting Bardock and everything like that, and
the father of Goku.
I was gonna say, I was like, yeah, he fighting.
Is it Bardock? Is it Bardock?
Bardock
What's
is
his
the
name?
father of
What's that guy, the kicking guy? His name is
Oh,
villain.
no, I forgot.
Bartholomew.
It's. I think it's Bardock. I want to
might
say
have
it's the
been
character. He's the character that in the Winter Soldier where Captain America was fighting and he's doing those flips and kicks and stuff and everything. It's the same character, same actor. But
Really?
yeah, and he's a character
Well,
from
in
the
the
comics.
beginning, we're in the ship.
Yeah,
Oh
in the
my
ship.
God.
Yeah, he's out. He's flying on a helicopter.
They brought his ass back.
They brought him. Yeah, they brought him back, and he's working for the LMF or whatever the organization they're called or whatever. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, but anyways,
and the thing is, what sucks is like to me, WandaVision was a masterpiece. Like
I thought it was insane.
and I just
thought it was
hope
really
they
good.
could. I hope they. I don't think this series need to be as good as WandaVision, but I hope it could keep that momentum in terms of like
At least
this
until we get to
show,
Loki.
This show and then Loki. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like that'd be cool. So I just hope this first episode was a fluke, you know, and it gets better. But I've been told Lewis a while ago, this was my least anticipated series of the three of the 3 day announcements.
The original
announcements. Yeah, mine was WandaVision, then Loki, then this because WandaVision and Loki, I feel like they're gonna give us something unique and different from what we're come accustomed to seeing in the Marvel universe. It's like and sure enough, with WandaVision, I never seen nothing like that. It was like the story was going in directions. I'm like, what the hell? And then with Loki, I feel the same way. Loki is gonna go and deal with shit that we never seen dealt with in the Marvel universe. And I feel like Captain America and Falcon and Winter Soldier, I felt like it was a typical Marvel movie.
Just gotta say, between WandaVision and Snyder Cut, 4x3 is having a good year.
4x3, baby.
Oh yeah,
4x3.
4x3.
I forgot about that shit.
You know what? I'm gonna just make this video and just crop it to 4x3.
As you say that.
I like that 4x3 ratio. I ain't gonna lie. You gotta get used to it, but
I like it.
Yeah.
It's like honestly, we've had about half our lives in that format and then half our lives in HD.
I know.
Think about it. We have. What the fuck? Like we have the best. Exactly. Like half our lives was just that. That's all we ever knew, and then boom, fucking TVs are like this behind me.
Rectangular and shit.
Exactly.
Instead of squares.
Widescreen. Like,
Oh man, I was gonna say I used to hate that shit whenever like you'd have like VHSs and they're in widescreen.
And they're in widescreen, so yeah.
The black bars.
That's
And I'm like, this TV's already small. Like,
episode 1. That's that episode 1 VHS that I have that Z got me. That's all that is. A widescreen fucking CRT cut. It fucking sucks.
Oh, is there? I guess we can just stop it there as far as.
Well, I
Falcon
will
goes.
say this though. I will say this about Falcon and Winter Soldier. It's like, I think when they meet, if the show doesn't start to work by the time they meet, whenever they do decide to meet, I don't know if they're gonna meet in the next episode or if they're gonna meet in the third episode. You know,
I mean, shit, it might even be the last episode. You know?
Yeah, that'd be crazy if they did that. But
That'd be-
regardless, I think if the show don't start to work whenever they do meet, then that's why I know this show's going downhill. You know what I mean? Like,
I mean, right now it already sounds like action for action's sake. It doesn't even sound like. It just sounds like very, I don't know. Like I said, action for
and
action's
again,
sake.
this is just the first episode, so this is just the first episode. So I mean, it's a long way to go. And one thing I did like about this episode was almost an hour. So
Yeah.
To the length A1.
That's true.
yeah,
A1.
so if they keep that, I like that. Hopefully, this ain't just the first episode
Well,
that they make it an hour.
Man,
But if they keep it an hour, that'd be dope.
I really doubt they're gonna keep this 45-minute run.
It's 6 episodes though, man. It's basically a movie.
I
They're
know.
trying to-
I know, but
What
fuck.
was WandaVision?
I mean,
an
it was
30 minutes per episode.
But I'm saying,
It was like 30.
9.
Yeah, 9 episodes, about 36,
Yeah, so
7 minutes on average.
30 minutes, but
we had
7 minutes
in
for
WandaVision.
credits.
There's like 4 episodes with plus 40 run times.
But the credits were also long as hell.
Yeah, credits were long.
like
as
7 minutes
fuck.
credits and stuff.
Are they not like that in Bucky Winter Soldier?
So it's 45 minutes and then credits roll.
Damn.
So yeah.
But I still find that hard to believe that they're gonna run that with that shit, even with 6 episodes. I mean, I hope they do. That'd be cool.
If they
but
do, damn.
that's a good sign
You gotta give 'em
because
credit
I'm
for
like,
that.
damn, this new Loki show's gonna have
I
to
did
run
read that
at
they
least.
didn't pick it up for a second season, so
They
Yeah,
did.
they didn't.
Oh, they did it. Yeah, because I think a lot of the shows that they're doing, they're almost like movies. Like they're doing them like it's just a series, and then after that, there's no point of continuing. Like that's how, because I don't think it's gonna be a WandaVision.
Nah, I
2
doubt
either,
that too.
and there's no way. I don't think it could. How would you do WandaVision?
Nah,
2?
because the next thing we're gonna find out is in
Yeah.
Doctor Strange 2. So
I think
it
these
makes
series
no
aren't
sense.
meant to be like the old Netflix. Marvel, how they used to do Netflix, and they used to
Right.
season
Yeah.
by. I think these new series they're doing on Disney Plus. A lot of them, even with Star Wars, they're meant
limited
to be.
series.
Yeah, they're meant to be limited runoff, like
For
one-offs. Like
Yeah.
it's a movie basically just chopped up, and a long ass movie chopped up. I think that's how they're doing it.
All right. Cool. All right, let's go ahead and move on to something else, Sarah. Now, I'm not gonna lie. I'm actually interested in this topic because I want to know. I want to get to know Sam. First off, like, tell me about yourself. Like, tell me your Batman Begins origin story.
Ooh.
With, like,
Big
you
jump.
gotta give 'em context.
All right.
Big jump.
Okay. Like, first off, you got badass lighting. I can tell you know your tech. You know a lot of technical stuff. Like, have you made any documentaries? Have you shot any music videos? What do you like? What is your expertise? Like,
Okay.
what do you got?
So I guess I could say I'm an aspiring director. I live in Austin. I go to the School of Film.
Oh, shit.
So I just learned some stuff through there. Obviously, it's slowed down with it being closed, but
Yeah.
do music video stuff. That's kind of where I've learned everything as far as lighting, camera gear.
Have you shot any of his music videos?
I've shot some stuff for him, and he's in a music video I've shot for sure. Yeah.
Hey.
We're gonna have to collab.
yeah, definitely.
All right.
But yeah, I've been writing like my own scripts for the past couple of years, and just trying to work towards that. So
Damn.
that's
Dope,
about it.
man.
Oh my God.
That's a lot of comment.
You make me feel like inadequate all of a
Oh
sudden.
no. I'm still learning. Like
Yeah.
I definitely I collab with Joel a lot. We talk about ideas. We definitely have plans to like work on like movie stuff together. So
That's cool. Me and him discuss the same thing.
Yeah,
Like,
exactly.
Yeah, so that's pretty cool because I'm into all that type of shit too, writing scripts and
that's awesome.
But
Troy has this one called The Little Girl.
Oh no, I was like, I
gotta see
think
that
there
one.
might be something like, what
it's
is it
like
called?
a little short film.
I think-
did. It's
What's Troy's
Little
script?
Girl?
I think something.
Oh no, fuck no.
I think-
Troy's I forget what is the script.
I paint walls or something
No,
like.
no.
fuck,
the
it's-
movie, the screenplay that you wrote. You s-
I think I paint.
coincidental,
Yeah,
coincidental.
I think I paint houses or
Yeah.
something like that, or
Nah,
something like that.
that
Well, that sounds like the Irish.
What's that
yeah,
one?
that's the Irish. I don't
What's
know.
that one I'm trying to think
The
of?
coincidental timing?
No, there was a script. You gave me the title. You gave me the title of your
Oh,
script
no, like, I
a
done
long
wrote
time
so
ago.
Much, I done wrote so much shit and just trashed it. Like, I
Yeah.
reread it like it wasn't good. Like,
I feel that.
But,
I feel that.
yeah, so that's something I want to get into. Like, doing
Yeah,
a
man.
movie.
Who's your what? I mean, like, who are you? Which director right now do you think is like really hot, really like popping right now that you're
Popping
really
right
watching?
now? Um,
Who's done like some work that you've seen? You know.
a lot of people, man. I don't know. It's like I always kind of go back. Like my biggest inspiration is David Lynch. I like that kind of older. I don't like more abstract, you know.
Yeah.
But then it's hard too because on the other side, like I love comic books, and that's where this other side of like the Marvel DC universe comes into it because I grew up on that, and then I got into the comics, and I love that like equally as much as I love like this, you know, abstract out there shit. So it's kind of like a combination of the two. Like I definitely like to, I don't know, bring that world together with, you know, film as far as comic books, like writing stories that might have to pertain to kind of like, you know, comic book type of themes or not even so, but I like them both. So yeah.
And I think they've been doing that a lot lately, but just the other way around. Like if you look at like Joker, that's like a character study,
exactly, yeah.
and they just made it like it was a comic book movie, but they used, you know, character study type of storytelling.
They can do that with a lot of stuff.
They do
psychology,
like,
society,
right? And they do it with Marvel too. Like they, you know, Winter Soldier is basically like a spy thriller movie. You know, they'll make a movie that's, you know, like Guardians of the Galaxy is basically a comedy.
I mean, Infinity War is like a genocidal fucking like how do you explain it? Like you see why like that's what I'm saying. Like you have these villains that have like, well, like damn, like if 50% of the world's wiped out, and in his mind, I'm like, I mean that's his job. It's kind of like Steppenwolf. Like he's just trying to please somebody. Like it's like that's why I feel like that's the kind of shit that. How do I explain this? I'm lost.
That's okay.
Yeah, but
No,
and you know what he was saying though, like I agree, because it's like it's fun. Like if I write a movie, I would want to put, you know, some elements of the stuff that's fucking cool. Like even though I might not be making a superhero movie, but I have like someone doing some superhero shit in it. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah, for sure.
It's like you can influence both. Like I think
you
like,
can have a good movie and it be a superhero movie.
Right,
basically.
like I'm waiting on like a horror movie that's a comic book.
Doctor Strange 2.
Right. Yeah.
Doctor Strange 2.
I mean,
like,
they were trying to do that with New Mutants.
Oh yeah.
Trying to do
no,
that.
trailers were better. Oh god.
And like I look at like if you look at like Logan, you know,
that's
like
it's a western.
That's a western family drama. You know what I'm saying?
That's a beautiful movie.
Like when they implement other, you know,
And it works in black and white.
filmmaking into like these superhero movies, that's when you get the best movies.
Yeah.
Like, I think like
For sure,
when
man.
they're not just making a superhero movie, but they're adding like genres to a superhero movie, that's when you get something unique.
It's just a real story about people who
Right.
happen to just live in this sort of
Like
fucking
I'm not
world,
sure
man.
if you guys watch any of the DC like shows, but like stuff like Doom Patrol and
Doom
like
Patrol,
all
yeah.
of that, I feel like kind of has that same element where they're approaching that, where they're trying to like implement these like real life, almost like what if you got these abilities? How would you handle it?
How would
Like
you
I've
handle
yet to watch
you wouldn't
any
just
of
be
that
like,
shit.
like all crazy.
I don't watch the DC TV shows or nothing.
But
I
a
We
lot
gotta
of those
subscribe
Doom
to that
Patrol,
stuff, yeah.
that's on HBO, right? That's
Yeah.
like a new show.
Like Doom Patrol, Titans, all of that. It's like
Yeah, I haven't
really
seen
well done.
Titans either.
So Sam, I just wanted to like go back to like talking about you because like all right, so
What's
like
up?
I have a thought here. So like Christopher Nolan, he tends to have like a lot of similar themes with all his movies. His through line tends to center around time. When you think about Inception, you think about what's that, Dunkirk and all stuff. And the Matthew McConaughey movie Interstellar. Like he has time seems to be a thing that like through lines. Steven Spielberg, he has E.T. and Close Encounters of the Third Kind. He tends to have like a lot of aliens in his movies, like Indiana Jones 4. You know.
Right.
So like there's a lot of like similarities when you can tell it's a director. It's like their touch or their theme, their you know their through line. So like have you discovered or have you found out or played around with I guess a certain style that's your own when you're going to be a director, you're going to be a writer? Is there something that you think that you might seek commonalities in your work?
Yeah, I'm a big fan of black and white. I'm not saying that's all I want to
Oh, that's
focus.
dope.
I would love to do a film like to
that's
kind of
dope.
focus on that, like, you know.
You don't hear that these days, man.
Especially
Shit.
just like after seeing what they did with like the WandaVision stuff and like how they like got the coloring down
Yeah.
just to get those tones, like super
They-
inspiring.
They painted
Oh,
Vision
man.
purple to make
Exactly,
to get that
yeah.
color,
But like even
That's
before that,
crazy.
just like stuff coming out in the past year, like even like The Lighthouse, it's just like I mean I've
Oh,
loved
yeah.
like black and white films from
That's a hell of a
back
horror
in the
film.
day, but
What's
just
that
like
Netflix film that's out right now? It's got that Academy Award nominee.
Oh, with what's his face? It's like a 1920s. Yeah,
no, not
yeah.
Roma. Norma, and also the one that's you watched just a while.
It's like about a guy. What's his name?
the Citizen Kane.
Yeah,
Oh,
Citizen-
Mank.
the making of
Mank.
it. Yeah,
Mank.
yeah, Mank.
Oh, what a
Mank.
masterpiece.
Boy, that's a
I haven't watched it, no.
motherfucking
Oh
movie
man,
right
you
there.
need to watch that one. That's a masterpiece.
It's in black and white, so, you know,
it's
that's
a
a
great-
but yeah,
That's dope
hugely
that you
inspired
said
by
that.
that for sure. I would love
I
to
want
do
to make a
something
black
like that.
and white movie, man. Bad.
We should.
Is it okay? I'm not gonna lie. Okay, my first
12 Angry Men.
my first
I swear, that's a masterpiece.
Okay, I'm gonna just come out and poo-poo you right now, and I say this like I say this like half-heartedly, like it's like a jab, not so much a punch, but like, what are your thoughts or criticism if somebody were to say like, okay, that sounds kind of pretentious? Like, what do you say to that? Black and white, like doing it for the sake of doing it, just to be like, oh, I'm artsy. I'm an auteur.
I can see that for sure because I've definitely seen that, and I just feel like a lot of people that have done it, I guess recently, haven't done it right. Because like I was saying, like with the way they shot it in color and like they painted him purple and stuff, they're getting the tones right, which they don't do usually. They'll just like do it in post or whatever with the color grades. So like I guess that's a big part of it, like to kind of see something that's not so typical and try to bring something new to it. Because I'm not like just inspired by that type of film. Like on the other side, like something that's really inspiring to me is like neo noir.
Yes, I was gonna say that next. I was like, I want you, if you're gonna do that, so make a modern neo noir.
So it's like black and white, or it's like kind of like the neo noir side of it, and I definitely like to explore both of those for sure.
Yeah.
And see, a lot of people don't know, like with black and white, it's like black and white isn't just black and white, right?
You gotta light it differently. You gotta frame it differently.
Right. So like I know, like when the average eye that don't know shit about black and white, they think they just watching something black and white, but it's a lot that goes into making black and white look how it's supposed to look, you know, and it's a lot of creativity that needs to go into black and white too, like you just mentioned lighting, or you mentioned color tone, how is something gonna look in black and white. So it's definitely an artistic thing, for something to be black and white, and I actually I was watching something on Christopher Nolan like a week ago, and his first film Following he did in black and white, whatever, because he didn't have enough money to make it look good in color. Right. You know what I mean?
Damn.
And so, he can make black and white look better than he can make, color look.
And when that's like if that's gonna be like the restraint, fuck it. Like work with what you got. If you can make a badass black and white film, who cares?
Right, yeah. So that's pretty badass, man.
I like movies that work both ways. Like Justice is a great addition. I'm sure it's gonna be badass. Logan, black and white version is badass.
I like the Logan black and white version, man. Yeah. A lot of people didn't see that.
There's plenty of movies that were black and white from back in the day that could be
Clerks. Was it Clerks?
I mean, Clerks 1 and 2 are like
black and white. Yeah.
But I'm saying like there's plenty of movies too that like are black and white back then that you could just fucking make in color now, and they're like and no difference, because like that's what I'm saying. Like it works both ways with like film. Like
the two best recently I seen that's black and white, Roma. We said Roma and Lighthouse.
Right.
That movie, like Lighthouse and Lighthouse was different from anything I ever seen, really, because it was real bright. Like it looked like it should have had color. It was weird.
But it was in like such a dark area of like the geography of the setting where they're at is just such a dark area. Like you would be like, oh, well, that place is supposed to be dark. It's the only light source is a fucking lighthouse.
Yeah, it was a well lit. Yeah. It was a masterfully lit movie.
Fuck yeah, the way they shot that movie was crazy. I mean, that movie came out, and I think that movie was one of my favorite movies of 2019.
Yeah, Lighthouse, it was crazy. Definitely. That's why people are sleeping on Robert Pattinson. I'm glad he's Batman. He could act his ass off. Like anybody that keep talking about like what was this shit? He was a Twilight or something. I'm like, y'all don't watch movies then.
Have you seen like any other movie he's done after that?
If you don't watch movies, if that's what you think about Twilight, it's like, dude, you haven't seen like The Rover, you haven't seen like all this other shit he's been doing.
I don't know.
Good.
I don't know if you fuck with a Good Time though.
Good Time was probably his best performance. Like
up until like fucking
Lighthouse. Yeah. I liked him in Tenet as well.
Tenet was good.
Tenet was great.
Yeah, so like he's a damn good actor, man. Real talk.
All right, cool. That's awesome. So, what else is there anything like? Do you have like a website or something where you have like a portfolio of stuff that you do, or a YouTube channel? Like,
no, I'm kind of starting to get that more together right now with the YouTube channel and stuff. I have a YouTube channel. It's just it hasn't been updated in like about a year or so. Just like obviously due to everything.
So, what's your idea? What's your idea for your YouTube channel? Like, are you going to be like a vlog? Or are you going to make behind the scenes, or are you going to do just projects, like fully edited, fully produced projects?
Probably the projects, just because right now it's like a majority music videos, and I would still like to kind of like explore that, but kind of go on from there and just upload like more full projects where I can involve like other people and have like a production team rather than just me like filming someone and being like, okay, do this, do this, do this,
Yeah.
do this.
They say the better your team, the better your product.
Exactly.
And
And that's what I'm ready to start doing, is like work with a production team as opposed to just being like, all right, this is my YouTube channel that
Yeah.
I'm shooting.
It's
And like I'm shooting this. Yeah.
right.
Yeah.
It takes a couple people, and I think if you have the right people around you, you can fucking make something.
And it's crazy because I think, and one thing that's very hard is building a good team. That's hard. And
Definitely.
I think good directors are only people that know how to hire good people to do their job. That's basically what a director is, because a director usually don't know how to do everything that it takes to make a movie. But he hired a good cinematographer,
or even not even that they hire people. It's just people that just been working together. Like it goes back to the fucking Coppolas, to the Lucases, to
but like even them, like they had to hire. Like if they didn't have
Like the
good
Safdie
people
brothers,
to do
fucking-
if they didn't have good people to do, like people that were good at their job, I'm telling you that, like their movies wouldn't have been that good.
Yeah, because like Ryan Johnson and his homeboy, like they're two different
They just
sides
happen
of the,
to be good.
Yeah, they're two literally separate. There's the production, and then there's the directorial side. Like they're two separate parts of the fucking film, and they both just be like, hey. If we're gonna work, we're just gonna work together for all these years together and make all these fucking movies. And they've made so much money together, and that's like the right idea of like a production team led in both ways, bro. Like they got everybody. They already know how to make movies together. So like that's all it takes is getting like the right people around you, and you don't know how long it's gonna last. It could last fucking 10, 15 years, like these dudes.
So Sam, what's your ideal way of approaching production or projects? Do you want to build up to it and start off with shorts, or do you want to just jump into the deep end and like produce a movie from your first thing, as your debut or whatever?
Yeah, definitely want to do shorts first. Definitely want to work my way into it. I have a few shorts written, so I would like to explore that I feel like are kind of, I don't know, just like little excerpts from like a bigger script. So I'd like to kind of test it out to see how it looks, to see if I would want to build off of that. So it's like, I don't know, there's like kind of similar themes that I have between like these scripts where not necessarily they all like, like go off of each other or like continue in the same universe, but just more so, I don't know, just like these loose ideas that I've pulled from longer scripts to make shorts to test them.
Yeah, that makes sense. That's actually pretty cool. And are you hiring? Is there room for like a very suave looking Mexican guy, in his 30s?
I'm about trying to get a
Like,
job.
like,
With a digital Rolex.
like I'm saying, I'm definitely. I want to build a team for sure. Like I want to get something together with like Joel, everyone.
Yeah. I'm just kidding. I'm not really like trying to hustle you or anything like that.
You're very suave though.
Oh, thank you.
Fucking Lewis.
Hey.
Oh my god.
Just like wink at the camera and everything like that.
Ding.
Yeah, you gotta edit that.
Edit it out.
Yeah. Joe, Troy, do you guys have any questions for Sam?
No.
Well, I've known Sam for a while.
Or is there anything that you want to throw him under the bus for and just tell me something?
No, I mean, man, dude.
Tell me
Sam,
something embarrassing about him, man. Come on, I need intel. I need the audience.
Sam's got a huge heart. He's got a huge heart.
That's funny.
I mean, Sam and I've known each other for, it's what, 2021? I've known Sam since 2014 or 15,
Damn.
something like that. But yeah, man, like we met just through music and friends, but even when I knew him back then, like you were the dude with the fucking camera, and like you always had the camera and you were recording us, and like we had like he would record like old sets. I remember you live streamed like one of the first Desert Museum shows, and you had like a fisheye lens on your phone. I remember that shit, but that was like 6-7 years ago. But since then, yeah, dude, like Sam, like he's such a like he's my friend, but like when it comes to like if we're gonna work on a music video or he has like an artistic idea or like a project he wants to work on, he's very like you pretty much like you've always followed through. I need like a picture. I need this. Boom, you give me that picture, whatever. We were doing like music videos.
I saw a music video.
We're just hanging out,
stuff,
and like that's all we're doing. We're hanging out. But like Sam has a very good idea of how we shoot things, how he wants his lighting, how he wants, his idea to pan out. And it always comes out fucking badass. Like,
Damn, bro, gassing me up right now.
gassing you up, but bro, that shit's
So how
dope,
do you
bro.
like? Okay, I have like a really weird thing with this camera specifically. Sometimes like this camera right here, sometimes it looks like a little grainy. It looks like a staticky filter. And when I see like cool professional looking podcasts, there's like a sheen, like a crystalness to it. I don't even know how do you control for that? How do you? Is it like ISO? Is it?
It's definitely both of that, but there's also a way you can do it in post so you can make it look more HD.
Oh damn! See, I don't know anything like that. I'm pretty basic. Like if you've been on my YouTube channel, like the videos are all like got that little like fuzz and stuff like that. There's like you can see like a little bit of like instead of looking black, it looks gray. You know, sometimes,
I feel what you're saying.
You don't see that on Love the Movie Troy. They gotta be they gotta be real with y'all, man. I'm just kidding, bro.
No, I'm just kidding.
So check me out.
Yeah, obviously we got 3 cameras set up and everything. It's my first multi-camera podcast. By the way, so I've always done single camera and stuff like that. So, I just kind of wanted to know, like, it interests me. Like, I always want to like perfect it. And like, there was a time when I was editing stuff, I was making videos, and like each time I did a new project or whatever, I would like add something, I would learn something and develop
100%.
my skills. And I feel like at a certain point when it came to like when I was doing my podcast, it was called Musing with Nunchaka, like somewhere in the 20s when I hit that episode number, like I stopped learning. I just started doing cookie cutter stuff and I stopped trying. And like I feel like there should be a part of me, and especially if you're a creative person, there should always be a part of you that wants to just one up yourself.
Yeah, and I can definitely relate to that, and I feel like that kind of like speaks to a lot of the work the lack of the work I've been doing throughout this year, because I've been wanting to learn more than just kind of be like, all right, I learned this set of skills, let me just keep doing it and doing it and doing it. Because like I got that same way where I was like so interested in learning, and then I was like, okay, I know this much, let me just use this much. And then I was like, and then my stuff started to get stagnant, and I was like, all right, I don't like the way this is looking, kind of looks the same. So I just wanted to spend time to learn like more, like, I don't know, as far as edits go, as far as the programs, like cameras, lenses. So it's just kind of, like, you guys, I don't know, I feel the same way. You get stuck at that point, and you just got to kind of be like, all right, let me switch gears and learn this so I can kind of apply it to this. Yeah,
I don't know the first thing about color correction, by the way. Like, I know my editing suite can do it, but I don't touch it because I think I'm going to mess it up. And I also think, like, there's this crazy stuff where, like, different monitors have, like, different color temperatures and stuff like that. And if I'm editing on this monitor, I'm going to, like, make it look good on this monitor, but when I'm streaming it on my phone, it just doesn't look good or whatever. It just looks like, like, I don't know. I'm very interested in learning that kind of stuff. Like, this stuff is obviously not shooting in RAW or anything like that. Right. So there's a lot of technical mumbo jumbo, but I guess this is a movie podcast, so that's fine. But I just wanted to like just vent a little bit because I get it. Color correction is one of the first things I learned, so yeah, it's definitely a tricky thing to play around with. I started off with a lot of presets, and just went that way until I could make my own based off of the presets I did have, and then just figured it out that way. Nice. So I feel like it's a problem you run into at the beginning. So yeah, cool.
I think that's all universal too. Like when you get like that, like you kind of just learn you just get so accustomed to.
And as far as the screen things, what I do is just like maybe like have like a dummy like YouTube account and upload like a clip of it, and then just test it on like my phone, like laptop, or like put it to my TV,
play it on different,
and then see if it all matches up, and then adjust the colors according to that. So
kind of like with music production, it's like the phone test,
right?
Or the car test.
No, exactly.
The car test. It's like you can be in a different person's car, but like I mean, to me, like I can mix it as much on my monitors, my headphones, or whatever. Get a final mix going or whatever. I test it on anybody's car that I can, because I want to just see how it sounds in different spots, and I kind of just type little simple fucking notes in my fucking iPhone. Just be like, it kind of sounds fat, like, because I'll have people, because you get in someone's car, they have it all EQ'd funny, like you have the bass fucking turned the fuck up, or the treble turned down high as well, like so like you go in there, you fucking set it all to 0 and see how that shit sounds. Like my car speakers sound completely different than how like Daisy sound, or fucking Saul's car, or anyone else's car. So that's like, it's like the same thing. You got to just test it in different places. And in music, it's like the car test. You want to see if it sounds good. When are you gonna listen to music in your car? You want to know. This
is like I got the experts up in this bitch. Like a video file, audio file, boom. I feel so awesome. You guys are just too talented. I'm like, I feel so inadequate because like I know shit, right? But I feel like I don't know.
You do know your shit. I think you kind of don't give yourself credit sometimes. So I feel like you need to give yourself credit. You do know your shit, bro.
That's why I feel like stuff like this is cool for, because like we're all like here on this common ground of the same interests, like what we're trying to do, video, like what we're interested in, like we can help each other. Like that's how I learned. I definitely didn't know shit. Exactly.
That's all it is.
And that's like collaborating. I think is like so necessary, because some things you might do, like Joel might do to help me, it can like help me learn it now next time. So when I do it, I'm like, oh yeah, Joel helped me with some things with my
taught
music.
you how to edit. I taught Troy how to.
You know, yeah, Louis taught me like some things early on. Really did like how to edit. And, you know, I used editing, and then I remember one time he hit me up like, hey, man, how'd you do this? Or,
oh, yeah,
like,
I didn't know how to do that shit.
So it's like, you know, sometimes you could, you know, collaborating with someone can help you get better at the thing you needed help with in the first place. So it's 100%. Always good. And it's always, actually, it's fun to do it, too. It's fun to be like, hey, Joel, I need a score, bro. Like, you know
sometimes I take long, but and honestly, if I take long, it's me just being lazy. It's me just being.
You're outing yourself.
Yeah, it's
real,
when it comes to like me making music, if like I'm like with your score, I don't think I've ever taken that long. Nah. Like I remember the first one,
the game podcast.
The game one, I was just like, okay, I can do it really quick.
We did it in like episode 9.
And the other one I did pretty quick too.
Yeah.
But it's because I'm like,
we was doing it together. Remember when you?
Yeah, I was at Soul's house. Yeah, I was at Soul's house with just the little MIDI keyboard and my laptop. I had like nothing, and we're just playing out the MacBook speakers, and we're just like, yeah. And I was like, all right, well, I'm gonna take this home and plug it all up and see how I can fuck with it, and then it became the fucking theme song.
Damn,
it's just I don't know. Like when I have work that I want to work on, I know if I really put like the effort into it, I'll be done pretty quick with the either the basic idea or like just most of it, and without then I just have to edit it a little bit, mix it up, and then master it, and that's it.
Yeah.
And
yeah, I really want to get Joel. Like that's one of the real reasons why I need to quit bullshitting and like make a movie, because I really want to see how Joel like watches it and scores it. You know what I mean? Because that's the
composed by.
Yeah, because a lot of people don't really realize like when you composing a movie. When you're composing a movie, it's not about how good you are with music, but it's like, can you see certain music in scenes or on the script or on the page?
Can you get a tone? Can you get a feel?
Yeah,
and like having,
right.
Like not necessarily like having done it before, because I've had like only little brushes of doing it before.
Yeah.
But with, I don't know. I feel like I've seen enough people. I've seen enough people that do it themselves that like are really good at like taking some. It can be most of it is actually comedy too, where they add like music to like actually make something funnier.
The scene funnier.
And that's one of the biggest inspirations for me, is that I see people do this even to like.
And ain't that the fun of it though? Like, I think I could do it. Let me do it. And then you know what I'm saying? Like, based off what you've learned and your skills, it's like, I'm gonna just implement it.
That's how I really have done any work that I've done, especially that I'm still in school. I'm like getting assigned to do a bunch of different shit that I've never done before, and yet I turn in my assignments, and my professors are like, how long have you been doing this? Like, we have a position open. It's not paid, blah, blah. So I'm like, I'm not interested. I really am not, because I just want to graduate. And I'm like, I already have so much on my plate right now.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I'm just like, I'm doing like, fucking news stories, sports stories, and then like highlight reels and like all this extra crap that I never done. Like, I've done them only once or twice in my life. And so like, that's why I feel like doing a lot of different shit kind of like is going to add to the different like, I don't know, like, it's not that I'm ever going to do it again. For all I know, I'm never going to do a fucking sports reel again or that shit. Yeah. But for some reason, I just like was like, fuck it, I'm going to try it. Yeah. Like, I mean, I have no choice. I could have done a printed story. I could have done the fucking easy. I could have done everything else. I chose the hardest thing for me, the most time consuming thing to do for my last sports story. And I was just like, fuck it, I'm going to do it, because maybe at the end of the semester, I'm going to just have the easy shit to do. Yeah. Okay. But it also, in the sense of me doing that, I learned a fuck ton, because I was like, damn, like fucking animations and like all this, so many moving parts for like a 2-second thing. I'm like, fuck, like I was like on my computer glued, and Dave's like, you done? I was like, babe, I've the last 2 hours I've got about 10 seconds of this animation, and she's like, fuck. I was like, it's okay. I was like, I just but that's the work that sometimes it just takes to like get this stupid ass thing to work. And I don't know, man. I'm always down to do anything. Like especially shit I've never done before. I'm so down, because I'm always down to learn and fuck up and release shit that's trash. I don't care. Like no one's judging me. No one. I got no fucking spotlight on me. And until that day happens, I'm not gonna give a shit. You put shit out.
Well, that's how you learn with the trash. Like, you make the trash. You learn.
Yeah, like Sam's seen it firsthand. Oh, you guys, you've seen it firsthand. Like, everybody's work has improved in some way.
Yeah, most
over the
definitely,
years.
yeah.
Everybody, there's no doubt. Like the progress everybody's made, I think is awesome.
You don't just come out and just turn in a final draft on your first, a
But
beautiful
actually,
first.
and
Exactly.
actually, that's really badass. Like when you could look at something like I look at like my old videos.
Exactly,
and see how
exactly.
atrocious
Everybody
they are,
has some
and they
way
get
of
better.
looking back.
Yeah, it's like that.
Nowadays,
That's
you know?
the fun part of
This
it.
very Amusing with Menchaca episodes 1 through 5 are delisted
Because Lewis can't handle his old shit. But I mean, you didn't have mics really. So.
I know, it's fine. No, but actually, I actually thought of an interesting question to ask you, Sam. So, like,
Damn, this is a Sam interview.
I know. Actually, I'm
yeah,
very,
I
I'm
love
very
it now.
interested. Like, I want to know. Like, I'm in like the presence of like a filmmaker, you know. So
Oh, no way,
I gotta
no
like
way.
pick your,
No way.
I gotta pick your brains.
No way.
Let's go.
So, like, okay, so my question to you is like, what is the most important thing in directing? Like, what's the most important skill? Like, as a director, should you emphasize blocking or coaching an actor's performance, or editing, or composing, like sound, music, or like what is the most important thing that, like, if I wanted to direct a short, you know, where should I invest all my skill points in this RPG?
For me, I definitely think like working with the actors and like kind of like establishing like a base of where you're coming from, especially like in my case, if I'm writing what I'm directing, like to kind of get them to where I'm coming from, or to even, I don't know, understand that feeling or mood, whatever, in the way that they would interpret it, to try to explain that. And I don't know, I feel like blocking is definitely like necessary and important, but it's not something that's like crucial for me.
Okay.
I'm kind of more like, I feel this out how you would feel it out, like you know what I mean, how you would like move about this space, how you would do this or that, and then kind of go from there, and maybe like give direction rather than just be like, oh no, be here and then go here and then do this here. And like to what Troy was saying earlier, like the composition of the whole thing is huge for me. Like you can't just get a track and drag and drop and it like does the same effect, you know. Like definitely working with someone like Joel or like other musician friends that I have to get a feel of, especially someone that knows me and like kind of knows like the type of, I don't know, the type of vibe, I guess, that I would even go for based off of the music I like or what I'm shooting is huge. Like, so composition, and I would say like working with the actors themselves for sure.
Okay.
And I could tell, like, you know what you're saying, because like working with actors to me is way more important than like blocking, right? Because what if, you know, if you create this kind of great vibe with your actors, this great chemistry with your actors, you know, your actors might start doing something on their own, and now you can't, like, you know, if you're blocking them and making them do certain things, it might take away from what they would have naturally, like a natural idea they would have came up to somewhat improvise.
Like they could improve like what you're seeing even more through like
You could
what
be
they bring to
surprised.
it. Yeah,
Right.
exactly.
You
Like
could
you never know
surprise.
until like you get that from them.
Yeah.
So I feel like if you're putting like restrictions on that and being like, do this here and like make it like, you know, say this word at this
take
mark.
3 steps.
That's
Yeah,
kind of
make
like
this mark, hit
you're
this
like
mark,
they're thinking about it too much rather than just being
Robotically,
in the moment and being like, okay, I'd feel this out if I happen to be in this situation, whatever it may be.
Yeah, I 100% agree with that, man. I think some people be so caught up in like, you know, the framing and this stuff. All this stuff is important, but like you said, you know, working with the actors is the number one important thing. So yeah,
100%.
Yeah, I agree with you.
All right, cool. Well, thank you. Awesome.
Oh, thank you. Appreciate the questions.
I heard it all. I did really.
Nah, it's fine. It's fine.
I enjoyed that.
Yeah, I can't think of any questions. Troy, do you have anything that you can think of or you want to ask, or something that you're interested in about when it comes to the process?
Yeah,
Either of them.
yeah. Like, would you find making short films a bit more difficult? I always felt like making a short film to me would seem like it's a bit more difficult than making a lengthy film, because like now you got to find a way to tell a story.
Right. You got to compact it all in.
Yeah. Like, do you feel that way too, or
No, I definitely feel the same way. Like a lot of the full-length scripts I have are the ones that are complete, and like the ones I'm saying, like I kind of pull some ideas. I'm not like basically taking like a scene from a long script and making it a short. It's just like kind of based off of a feeling or maybe like something from like a character I've written. But yeah, definitely, man. Like that's what stopped me from kind of like just moving forward with the shorts, because it's like, how do you like, I don't know,
a beginning, middle, or
Exactly.
end?
How do you do rising action?
how do you do that
climax,
within a
and-
certain amount of time? What's the right amount of time? Like,
Yeah, and
don't
that's
know.
why like I've wrote so many, or I've started on so many scripts where I intended it to be a short film, and it's like I keep going on accident.
Yeah.
It's almost on accidental, and I'm like, oh man, this not even like a short no more. It's not like a 5-minute thing or a 10. It's like it done became something
yeah,
else.
it's very hard. There's there's like a little practice that they like taught us in like film school to where you do like the 5x5, like the 5 second, like, and then make like a little short like that, and just keep doing that, and try to like build like a, I don't know, like a begin, middle, and end within 5 seconds.
Based off that, yeah.
And it's like impossible to do, obviously, but like the more you work at it, you're just kind of like in that frame of mind. So when you're writing your short like script or whatever, it's like, okay, maybe I can pinpoint this here and like cap it off here, and it doesn't have to go on so far beyond.
That's a good idea, man. I never even thought about that. Like, I mean, I heard about that before, but I never thought about doing it.
I honestly thought it was like such a useless like little thing. I was like, why are we doing this? And I just like started doing it over time by myself, just like if I was like making coffee or something, like the little things, you know? And you kind of like, all right, and then you apply it to story, and then like bring your friends in and like do other shit.
You start to see results.
All right, I thought of a question. All right, let me ask you this: how do you handle criticism? Like, how do you? Okay, like I want to know the process of like, do you like show your script to a friend, a trusted friend, or do you get there trying to feel out what they think or whatever? Do you change? Do you adapt, or do you just like, no, I'm sticking to it, or whenever you finish something, or whenever you finish something, like, do you like, how do you feel about reception? Do you?
I've got an answer. Could I please run to the restroom real quick?
Go for it.
I'm so sorry.
We've been the beer, man.
Yeah, we've been drinking.
The beer, it just that's what happens whenever you just
beer and water is just
just like
that's all it is.
All good. Yeah,
we're all good.
We pretty much agreed that the podcast is winding down, so it's not too bad.
That's why
it's winding down.
Oh, it's winding down.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Yeah. So all right. So the question is regarding criticism, like okay, let me put it to you this way. Like, would you like screen it to just like friends and families and then just like say it like very focus grouped, or do you?
I personally would.
Okay.
I'm pretty guarded on that kind of stuff. I share like scripts with like, just like with Joel, maybe because I feel like he understands where I'm coming from as far as like a filmmaker, as far as like a composer, you know. I feel like that's someone I would trust to kind of get that feel that I'm trying to convey.
There's never judgment or nothing, or like we're never like too overly critical, but we're always honest. You know what I mean?
Constructive criticism.
Yeah,
but there's definitely hesitation in showing like. I mean,
baby.
I guess like maybe even like my girlfriend or something, because I'm like, will she understand these side notes I'm putting that are kind of trying to explain, so I can remember like what I see, but like. I don't know, like, you know, if I put something in, like, I'm like, okay, this in, like, stop motion, like, kind of blah, 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 like, do people understand that? Or if it just seems, like, stupid to them because, like, you can't see it play out until it's played out. So that's why I'm kind of reserved on certain things, but I definitely down to share it with, like, a close circle of people.
Okay.
I agree, because it's like, some people, when people don't really understand if they don't understand the art that you're into, it's just like a straight up opinion. There's no like artistic opinion to it. It's like they don't understand, you know, what you're trying to do or possibly trying to do. Like if you're talking about framing up a shot and you don't know nothing about framing, you just like, well, this angle should be in this angle and this should look better, and it's just random and it don't, you know, it's really not helpful. And it's only helpful to a person that somewhat
that kind of plays into like how a lot of people like watch movies. Like you go in there and you are like, where's the disconnect? Is there a disconnect? Do you kind of just watch the movie, or are you there like scanning it? Are you there looking for everything that's gonna be good or bad?
Right.
Do you believe in like in a general audience, like, you know, do you feel like you make something for an audience, or do you feel like you make something for a general audience, or like how do you trust the average person on the street walking down with film criticism or whatever, or do you only go to someone who's like an expert in their field, like a Troy or someone like that, someone who knows knows the craft?
I don't know. I don't want to like.
Yeah, that's before
like,
you could really know.
I don't know. I definitely don't go to just like anyone and kind of talk about any type of film unless it's something like a big box office hit. You know, like they can understand. If it's like, I'm not trying to go to talk to someone about like some film that I saw and like break it down, like, because I know they won't understand like the terminology or like anything I'm trying to talk about. As far as that goes.
Right, that's what I was saying.
It gets a little frustrating, not to the point where it's like, oh, this person doesn't know shit. It's just like, I'd rather focus on like conversations like this with people
exactly.
that are trying to reciprocate.
No, I'm just interested in like in the idea of like what's the point of view of someone making something like that, you know?
Yeah, I feel like as far as movies, like in the future, if I were to release something, it would probably be for like a specific kind of audience, just because of the type of like subject matter I'm into, and like like I'm inspired by like specific directors like David Lynch or like Greg Araki, like some like they make just like weird shit, you know what I'm saying? Like I don't see myself making like
big genre.
fucking a Marvel movie. Like,
Yeah.
even though I would love to be involved with something, I just don't see like that's something I couldn't write myself. That would just be way different.
Yeah, like if you understand the movies you make, you kind of understand your audience. Like it's like people that are like a lot of people that are maybe love like Christopher Nolan films, they might not like Paul Thomas Anderson. You know what I mean? Like he's more of a character-driven guy. You know, some people be like, this shit boring because I'm used to Nolan and shit blowing up. You know what I mean? So it's like, and then you might have certain people that like all types of movies. You know, you have people that like all type of movies, The Master and Tenet. You know what I mean? So you just, I guess like like based off what you like, what your audience is gonna be for.
And on the other hand, like you have people that you could never expect to make shit like, people that do a comedy or do a fucking genre or like do a horror movie, like
they're two different
or
schools.
even like the Russo brothers. Them motherfuckers did Arrested Development.
Yeah.
And like they were doing shit like that, and then they did the Marvel movie. They did Winter Soldier. Like it's crazy. Like you never expect. As I'm saying, like I think people have to prove with their work that hey, like I can do this. Like I feel like that's the only way we can
and
really
that's the
like.
thing, and like the difference is some people don't want to prove it. Like some people like, look, I'm good.
I'm gonna
with
do
the
with
kind of
this
movies
shit
I
I'm
make.
doing, right?
And then you got some people that like want to show like, look, I could do this shit. I could do, like
I'm a jack of all trades and master of all of them.
Right. So it just depends on the kind of filmmaker you are.
Yeah.
Have you ever seen a movie that you thought, damn, I wish I made that movie?
Ooh, that's
Plenty.
crazy. I feel
like if you like, I'm not gonna lie, I kind of wish that I'd have made Chronicle. That would have been like,
I wish I could have made
that.
I wish I could have made Blade Runner.
Hey,
That's one of the movies that I literally
Yeah.
could like. I watch and I'll watch it again and I'll watch it again, and I'm just like, where the fuck did they get these? Like, what a crazy fucking idea this was, and it's just like, wow, like
Yeah.
I think mine would
For
be
the-
like
and for a sequel to be so good.
I think mine would be like Boyhood. You know how like because it's
Oh.
like
No, that's
over,
crazy.
Like
That was
20
crazy.
years.
Yeah.
I'm
That's
yeah.
like-
That's a crazy idea.
even to think of that is one thing, but to actually do it is like
and pull it off.
And pull it off.
that
Be like,
almost seems impossible.
how many years did they film Boyhood?
like 18 years.
It was
I
like
think?
his
16
literally.
years.
He was an
he was
adult.
literally growing up,
Shit.
so it was
I
like-
forgot about that's
yeah.
what homeboy. What's his name? Fucking
Ethan Hawke.
Ethan Hawke. Yeah.
Yeah,
That's crazy.
It was
I
like-
saw that fool in Fort Worth one day.
Man,
That's crazy.
From a philosophy standpoint, The Matrix come to mind. Like I think Matrix
Yeah,
is so
The
good 'cause
Matrix too.
It works in
Man,
both like
what
a
a good-ass
commercial, like
movie.
dumb action movie, and it also works in like from a philosophy.
No, bro, The Matrix
standpoint.
is legit.
It
The
works
Matrix,
both.
the first Matrix.
Yeah, the first Matrix. It works.
No,
It works two
yeah.
ways in like
That's what
in
I'm saying.
parallel tracks.
Nothing can take shit away from that movie. That movie
Yeah.
is a fucking 10 out of 10, dude.
Yeah.
No,
The
that's-
first
that's
Matrix,
one of the
10 out of
greatest
10.
movies of all time.
Yeah.
Hell
for
yeah.
sure.
What about you, Sam? Is there anything you thought of now? Just like as far as like, damn, I'm so envious.
I don't know. I just can't. It's hard for me to say because I feel like I just keep coming back to the same thing. But like Eraserhead, like David Lynch is like the one film that kind of is one of the things that just like I don't know
Yeah, bro,
inspired
that-
me so much. And like this, I don't know the subject matter stuff in there, like the thought, like the way he did it, everything. It's just like I wish I could have done that.
Mhm.
Like the way he shot it, how he did it, like where he shot it. It basically in a basement. Like it's just like I don't know.
Okay.
Very
Like
inspiring.
that's the thing that gets
That's
me
very.
more
That's
than
yeah. No.
more than like doing the movie itself. Like I wish I would have did the movie. For me, it's like the ideas, like
Exactly.
having
Yeah.
the idea like of Pulp Fiction being
Oh.
different storylines and their interweave. It's like you came up with that really, or like I was saying, Boyhood, someone filming over decades. Like those, it's like the ideas is what I like. Damn it! I wish I could have I wish I could think of something
Yeah.
like that.
Like,
pisses
and
me
that
off.
relates to everything, bro.
Yeah.
Who doesn't wish they would have wrote that song?
Yeah.
Because any producer be like, damn, I could have wrote that. Damn, I could have made that. Damn, any artist, I could like it's the same shit.
And the
Like,
thing
Yeah.
about it,
Man.
it seems so easy in theory. Like I'm gonna
Yeah.
just make some revolutionary shit.
hell yeah. I'm a write fucking There Will Be Blood.
Yeah, until you like actually do it and shit. Like, damn, I can't do it. Like, it's crazy. Yeah,
All
for
right.
sure.
Let's go ahead and end it on one last segment here. It's called Sharing the Love because you guys are guests. I want to have both of you.
I want to do Sharing the Love.
Sharing the Love is the thing where we talk about a movie that we grew up with and we just gush about it. We can tell anecdotes about side stories of who you watched it with or whatever. Just a movie you had growing up, and you just want to share it up. It could be some deep cuts.
It's just
You
like
wanna-
it's almost like an honorable mention. Kind of
yeah,
thing. Okay.
yeah. Go for it.
Because for me, I feel like it could be any movie, like any movie. I mean, literally, with my friends, I think Tenacious D, The Pick of Destiny, bro.
That's an interesting pick. Okay.
That's what I'm saying, but like you're associating
Yeah.
with a lot of memories and stuff
Yeah.
in my life. I mean, that was the movie that I was like, this movie's so funny. It's funny as fuck, and a lot of the jokes, I was like a little kid. I was like a teenager. I was like, this movie's fucking dude. All this metal shit, all these references, all this shit. I was like, man, this is
greatest
like
song in the world.
I was like,
and
wow, I was like, and then Jack Black. I was like, and that. The cast in that shit is hilarious. I mean, the cast in that shit is like legendary. They got Ben Stiller, Kyle Gass, fucking Jack Black, Dave Grohl. He plays the devil. Like, I mean, fucking Meatloaf's in that shit, dude. It's just a random fucking movie. And like for me, I mean, like I never listened to Tenacious D much other than like the first 2 albums because they were associated so much with the movie and like YouTube, you know. But that movie for me, like I would watch. I had it downloaded onto my iPod Nano, and I would watch it. I would watch it at school and just be like watching.
Tiny ass screen.
Yeah, I would watch it on my iPod Nano with like my friend Lambert and my friend Christian, and we would like all have it on our iPod Nanos, and we would try to fucking sync them at the same time. And like at like a certain like the final battle, we'd fucking sync that bitch and be like have an earphone in each, and we'll be like, we're just in the gym, just fucking jamming.
Damn, that's
But
good shit.
but that's like some movie that I love, and I like it inspired me, and it made me like laugh a lot, and it was like some
like the
stupid.
best of
It
both
was some
worlds.
stupid stoner humor as a kid
Yeah.
before I was a stoner.
Yeah.
You know, and then I became a fucking stoner. So and it's even funnier now.
It's like the best of both worlds because it emphasizes music and it's got like the movie.
It's hilarious. Like the movie is just dumb as fuck, but it's funny.
Yeah.
Honorable mention on top of that, Tropic Thunder. And
Oh,
and I'll end on that.
Tropic
All right,
Thunder.
Sam.
Mine's like might be one that no one's probably seen, but it's called Drop Dead Fred.
Drop Dead
Dead
Fred. I feel like I've heard of
I've
that.
heard- I've heard of it.
barely
And
think that.
basically, I don't know. I grew up in New Zealand, so I got a lot of like UK stuff over there, and it's like the main actor in it. I can't remember his name for the life of me, but I think like the leading like actress in it is Phoebe Kate.
Phoebe Kate.
Like, is that actress from?
Bust out the laptop.
I can pull up IMDb here.
Let's pull it up.
Phoebe
But
Kate.
Yeah,
no,
go
it's just
for it.
like
Go
it's
ahead
such a
and
great
take
movie.
over.
It's just basically like I think it's like PG-13 rated R, but it's like about this like younger girl. She has an imaginary friend, and that gets locked away by like her parents that are just like super.
So starring Phoebe Cates and Rick Mile, Marsha Mason, and Tim Matheson.
So he was this guy that
Tim
was
Matheson, I
like in
know who
this
that is.
like sketch comedy show called The Young Ones in the UK, where he played like this punk guy that was like
Carrie Fisher was
goofy
in
and
it.
shit.
Carrie
was in it.
Fisher's
What?
in that bitch?
Yeah.
Damn. What
So
the
it's
fuck?
like, yeah, like she has this imaginary friend. Her parents are like super hard on her. They're like, yo, you can't have an imaginary friend. So they lock it away in like a Jack-in-the-Box that they tape up. And then she
Oh.
has like a midlife crisis, comes back, like finds it, opens it up, and he comes back into her life. And it's just like all this
Bro.
like wild shit. And like, it's just one movie that as a kid, I watched like with my cousins endlessly. And
Oh,
I feel like it inspired like a lot of my imagination towards story writing, drawing characters. And to this day, I can just watch it and still like love every moment of it. Like it's got like that comedy at the end. It's got the heart. It's just
dope.
it covers all
Damn,
parts.
that's so
But
I mean, even just me hearing about it,
Yeah.
I'm like, I want to watch.
I'm
this
like,
movie
it reminds me of Bogus, by the way. A little
Bogus?
bit.
I
Yeah.
don't think I've ever seen Bogus.
It's Haley Joel Osment and Whoopi Goldberg.
Oh, really?
And Gerard Depardieu was an imaginary friend of Haley Joel Osment.
Oh shit!
Yeah.
It was
yeah.
like it was one of those.
it's kind
movies.
of like that
There's a
same
lot of movies
feel.
in that time
but
too.
I don't
like that.
I don't know. I know the exact movie you're talking about. But yeah, it's kind of the same thing. But there's just like different elements to it to where. I don't know. She has to grow up and like let go of him, and he has to move on to a different kid. And,
Yeah,
it's just
yeah.
like it's
That's
just,
There's some
Right.
good stuff.
That's
yeah.
a lot of. That's
so
a
that's
great
definitely
idea.
a deep cut for
Yeah.
me. Like I've been watching that since I was like maybe 4, from what I can remember.
Damn.
So,
Damn.
Damn, man. I appreciate
so
that.
show some
appreciate
love.
that.
Drop
was it
Dead
called
Fred.
again?
Drop
Drop
Dead
Dead
Fred.
Drop Dead
Drop
Fred.
Dead Fred.
Yeah. I mean, that's a cool title already. That makes me
Yeah,
want
that
to watch
shit's
it.
clean as hell.
Drop Dead
I
Fred.
mean, Carrie Fisher's in it, so
That's
Yeah.
wild. I mean, like,
Yeah,
damn,
Carrie
that's a
Fisher.
name right
Yeah,
there.
yeah,
One of the
Carrie
old.
Fisher and that shit. I'm gonna
RIP.
definitely check it out.
What a poor.
Sure, pour one for Fisher.
How about
Alright.
you, Louis?
Yeah, no. Sharing the love was for y'all two. Y'all were
Oh,
the
just
guests.
us two?
Oh,
Yeah.
sick.
Any honorable mention just for the just to drop it?
I mean, we do sharing the love like every week.
Yeah.
Troy and I
I'll probably
alternate.
do Spirited Away on my
I
next
did
one.
Dumb and
Spirit
Dumber.
of
I think I
Hay.
did Dumb and Dumber last week.
Well,
something
just
like
give
that,
us
yeah.
one this week. It's still another week. You gotta do it.
I'm trying to think. Okay, I didn't come prepared with one, so I can't think of one like just. Oh yeah,
Off the
I grew,
dome,
I grew up
yeah.
with this. I usually the reason why I like to take my time and actually think of a story, like and tell a story.
Okay.
I come
Okay.
prepared. that's how I do my process. You know, I can't just go off the cuff.
All right, well, let me give you one, and let me see if you have a story with it.
Okay.
Spider-Man 1.
Spider-Man 1.
2000.
Yeah, 2002.
2002.
I believe it's 2002. Spider-Man 1. I watched it with my brother. My oldest brother. He was just me and him. He took me to the movies. We were at the Palace, and I remember that. I remember loving the movie, and I guess I'm trying to think of something. I don't think I have like any like times where I watched it on repeat, but I did remember watching it on DVD and stuff a lot. So
Yeah. What Spider-Man 2 wasn't a bigger experience for
yeah, Spider-Man 2 was definitely a bigger experience because I watched it with the whole family. I took my mom and dad and all my brothers. We all watched it together, and I remember thinking to myself, like, as we were walking down the theater, as we were going up the stairs for the Palace and stuff like that, we were thinking to myself, like, damn, like that's like a superhero movie, but it had story.
Oh shit!
And like we were thinking to ourselves, like as if like that was like completely
that
unheard
was a
of.
big thing.
Because this is like the time when Batman and Robin was
Yeah.
like that was a thing, and so I just remember thinking to myself like this is like the beginning of something special and stuff like that, where it's like damn, they got the drama, they got like the will they won't they with Mary Jane and stuff like
I
that.
still
Yeah.
think Spider-Man 2 a top 10.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
that
That's
could be
huge.
up there with Justice League and all that shit too.
Have you seen the director's cut of Spider-Man 2? By the way, there's
Yeah.
extra action scenes.
No,
I'm
yeah,
like,
I've
what
seen
the
I've seen
hell?
them on YouTube. I've seen the extra action scenes.
Oh my god.
And last question. Transformers. Is there any good Transformers movie? How do you?
Okay.
Was the best.
They all
Oh, no,
they all
Bumblebee.
trash. They're all pretty trash. Bumblebee is actually pretty
Bumblebee's
good.
I
good
like
as
Bumblebee.
fuck.
Bumblebee,
Well, okay, then
but
forget
not
all,
count.
then
but
forget
not
all, then forget all those. Transformers 1. I know you have an experience with that. I know you have to. Everybody did.
I did because like I was working at the movie theater at the time.
That's
That was
what
my
I'm
first
saying.
summer. That was a summer of 07 was my first summer working at AMC. And I remember like it. I remember like specifically just random ass memory of just how much cash there was in the till because how many
Yep.
people were there watching it and stuff like that. I remember thinking it was really cool, really cool spectacle, really cool action scene. Michael Bay is good at spectacle, but he's kind of raunchy at places and like.
Jesus Christ. He
yeah.
the worst director of all.
Well, Pain and Gain, you gotta. He did Pain and Gain.
Pain and Gain. I remember
was
that.
good.
I was working at the theater at
Pain
the
and
time when
Gain.
that
Yeah.
came out. Mark Wahlberg.
I just watched a
Nah,
video
Pain and-
yesterday
oh,
that
yeah,
fact checked
wait,
that,
yeah,
and
yeah,
apparently
it's
it's
Mark
like
Wahlberg.
pretty on point.
I didn't even like Pain and Gain. I ain't gonna even lie.
Damn.
That
I
shit
like
was,
that movie.
That shit was fucked up. Like, wasn't that a true story? Like, it was the way he was just. I don't
But
know.
Michael Bay wasn't being Michael Bay though. That's the thing. He was being someone else.
He wasn't being
It
Michael
was-
Bay. I still.
Well, hell yeah.
Troy.
Well, this has been the Ready Play Movie Show. I'm your host, Joel Perez.
Hey.
These have been my guests.
Oh,
I'm
That
kidding.
boy
I'm
took
kidding.
over
I'm
there.
kidding.
Hey,
No,
oh,
it's
took
fine.
over.
We're ending it. Actually, we are ending, but I wanted to say because Troy, did you want to share the love or did you want to just hold off till next week?
No, he said Spirited
All right,
Away.
Spirit,
Yeah,
oh yeah,
Spirited Away
that's
is
right.
one.
That's
Yeah,
classic.
Spirited Away.
Fucking
Yeah, so-
classic. That shit makes me
All
want.
time great.
Yeah,
Hell
so
yeah.
we are ending then. So yeah, thank you for so much for joining us for another episode, and you can follow me on Twitter at Chocolate88 and Troy,
Bracy Troy 58.
Joel,
At,
Waz. It's W_A_Z, I believe.
no, it's something else on Twitter. You're doing Twitter.
Yeah, Twitter.
So it's like I don't even know. It's the word was rearranged in a bunch of different ways. So some way. like that.
I'm
I
just gonna
forget.
put the Twitter handles on the bottom
Yes.
third. Just there, boom. Twitter
there.
and Sam.
And Shot by Blank.
That's a good one. I like.
Shot
I've
by
seen people on Twitter that says "shot by" and then like yeah.
Yeah.
So that's a good one. Very good.
Thank you.
Very nice. Thank you so much for joining us for a very special episode, and we will see you next week for another regular episode.
Stay safe.
Peace.